Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases her first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
In the twilight for Carlton and Geelong, the Blues better in recent weeks, better defensively in their past two starts. They're coming off back-to-back wins at 6 and 9, up against Chris Scott's Cats, who have lost just once in their past 8 fixtures, stretching across a couple of months. They're 11 and 4, trying to solidify their place in the top 4. In the twilight here at the MCG, Corbin Middlemass alongside Andrew Mays for the call, Brett Delidio, Brendan Goddard and Jess Webster. David Teague, coach of the Carlton Football Club. The review ongoing at the moment and the speculation continues. With the situation at Hawthorn during the week, he joined us on the lead a little earlier today, chatting with Alistair Nicholson, Cameron Ling and Adam Ramanauskas, and he was asked by Al as to whether he expects Carlton to inquire about the availability of Alistair Clarkson.
Oh, as long as they're transparent and clear with me, I'm comfortable. I understand it. To be honest, I think it will be a year away. I think one thing Alistair's done is his integrity of his word, and he's saying he's going to fill out a year. So I think it'll be 12 months away before that happens. But look, I do get it. I understand football. I understand the bigger picture. But I also think we're doing a lot right now.
David Teague on the lead earlier. You can catch up on the full episode under the Best of Grandstand folder in the podcast store. A win today against the Cats, the biggest name on their resume this year. If they can score a victory this afternoon, will certainly ease some pressure on the Carlton coach. Andrew Mays is here to call the action. G'day, Maysy.
Hello, Corbin. Felt a bit sorry for Lockie Henderson and Sam Menegol, who both got milestone games. No banner to run through this afternoon. Didn't make the trip up the highway. Not quite sure why, but both great stories for the Cats this afternoon.
We're used to some late changes in a Geelong game, but it's ordinarily the Cats. They go in as selected with Quentin Narkle to be the Medi sub. Meanwhile, for Carlton, 2 big outs. Liam Jones is missing with a back complaint. Levi Casbolt with a knee. So 2 late changes. They both drop out. Cottrell is the Medi sub for the Blues. In comes Zach Williams, returning from suspension. We knew that on Thursday night. And Will Setterfield comes in off the emergencies, along with Tom Williamson to take their place in the Carlton team this afternoon. Brendan Goddard and Brett Delidio on Grandstand AFL Lids. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good to be here, Corby. Watched the game last night. I did the game last night on ABC, and I'm very hopeful that we get a better spectacle here today because, mate, how good is it to be back at the G with not a full house, but a good crowd starting to roll in, and you know, it's a test now for the Cats to, you know, the Blues are starting to get their season going a little bit, but the Cats some big outs, you know, Selwood's been rested. Cameron out for a few weeks now as well, and Dalhouse out. So, be interesting to see how they roll around today. But Cats probably too strong if I'm tipping a team.
The Selwood one's fascinating, given that they've got a 5-day break before playing in Perth on Thursday night. So they decided to give him to freshen up here rather than leaving him behind for the trip out west to play the Dockers on Thursday night. Your former teammate Jeremy Cameron missing. They had scoring problems, the Cats, in the first 6 weeks of the season. They've really upped their scoring since he's come in. They'll go back to life without Jeremy Cameron this afternoon. Brendan Goddard's here. G'day, Beach.
G'day, guys. What a night evening for football.
Oh, and you've dressed up for us too, mate. I'm pumped with that.
First time, only when I need to.
Exactly. He's usually in trackies and just an over... what would you say? A hoodie.
Yep.
Listeners.
Jumper.
But today, he's looking fresh to death.
Yep.
Jeans. Nice watch on. Fresh white T-shirt.
Kidless this weekend, so making the most out of it. My wife and I being in the city. So.
How lucky are we? We got you here.
That's right. And, so great evening. So if you're ever going to turn up the game of footy, like surely this afternoon's it.
Yep.
Isn't it? No excuses.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, lacking crowd numbers. So, yeah, they're looking forward tonight. I think it's all about Carlton, really. Geelong need to find a bit of consistency because, as we know, they've been really inconsistent across the board. So their wins have been really strong, and they've had some poor losses. 2 weeks ago against the top 4 team in Brisbane. Obviously last week against Essendon and Carlton. For me, what's changed? We haven't seen them in the last couple of weeks in their wins, and obviously the review going on and being under the microscope. So a number of experts have talked about how defensive they've changed. Obviously, that's evident, in the opposition's scores the last couple of weeks. But mind you, they've played Fremantle and Adelaide. So against a good opposition, I'm interested to see what's changed.
Cats in their Indigenous jumper. It is NAIDOC Week. Karina Eccles, the designer, and Carlton in the navy blue with a white monogram. Away we go on Grandstand AFL. You're with Andrew Mays.
Good anti-climax there. Poor bounce by the umpire.
How often does that happen, really, seriously? Just throw it up, please.
The bigger the pump-up Corbin sees to give it, the worse the bouncing by the umpire.
Change that rule.
Stanley, second time down, tried to win it. Ripped off the ball was O'Connor. Dow tried to pick it up. He might have been legged. Umpire said play on. Dangerfield got to his feet, kicked it inside 50. Sard wins a good one-on-one. Then just put the ball on the boot, kicks over the centre square to right half forward. Ball bouncing in front of Henry. He's got a couple of metres on Martin. Hand passes to Stewart. Left half back here for the Cats. Hand pass to Kolajasny, to Atkins on his left, inboard. Kick was touched, spilt by Higgins. Walsh mops up for Carlton. Hand pass to Newman. He gets it to centre half forward where the mark's taken by Silvani.
With a heavy strapping on his lower right leg, Jack Silvani still inside the centre square. Kicks a floater inside the forward 50 onto the chest of Nunes, who hangs onto it. It was a shocking kick from Silvani, and Jack Nunes will shoot from 40 out right in front.
Well, it's pretty hard to kick with a cricket pad on, as it looks like here at the moment. That's come straight off it, hasn't it? And as Beach likes to call it, a wounded duck. It found its target.
There was Eddie Betts was actually out the back with a little bit of space. It probably wouldn't have got there in the end, but I think that was the target he was attempting to hit.
He's 2-7 this year, Jack Nunes, so a little shaky. He moves in and misses out to the left. On long sleeves, it is clear but cold, it must be said, around 13 degrees. An overnight low of 3. We'll get the conditions from Jess Webster shortly, but Carlton with the first score after 90 seconds.
Stewart with a long kick. Henderson takes the mark. The milestone man in his 200th. Got me a couple of boos from the Blues fans, which is interesting. He's looking further afield. Just goes short. Pulls the kick at the last moment. Guthrie takes the mark. He looks inboard. Still at right half back, very short again, back to Stewart. Just outside defensive 50, looking initially for the switch, then he goes back to where Guthrie kicked it from and finds the same man.
It's the one Guthrie in today, Zach Guthrie among the emergencies. And here's the All-Australian and reigning best and fairest winner as Cam goes short to Higgins. Jess Webster is on the boundary. Good evening, Jess.
Good evening, Corbs. A picture-perfect winter's day here in Melbourne this afternoon. It's beautiful conditions down here at ground level, and the crowd as well lifted to about 40,000 this weekend. I reckon we might get near that. It's great to see.
Good roll-up so far. All in the navy and white, of course, the colours of both teams, as Henderson copying the jeers. Kicks to a contest on the wing. Higgins keeps it alive, feeds a hand pass back to Smith. He goes inside to Myers, so the Cats retaining possession, still in their back half. Great kick. Finds Dangerfield on the logo.
Dangerfield off one step, looking for Stanley out the back. It bounces in front of him. Intelligent hand pass back to Radigalia. Tries to shake off Sard. Couldn't do so. Well, in fact, just got the hand pass away. Now a chance for Stanley. He's hurried over the boundary line and out of bounds. 55 from the Cats' goal. Lights on here at the MCG. Beautiful conditions for football. And as Jess mentioned, a lovely crowd in here. Toss back into play. De Koning and Stanley to go at it again. Neither ruckman got a hand to it. Fogarty against his old team. Dow received the hand pass from Walsh. Kicks up towards the wing. Bounces over a couple of contests. There to mop up is Stewart. To blitz up by hand. Having a fumble was Kolajasny. Swooping on it was Silvani. To Fogarty. Kicks inside 50. On the bounce to Mackay. Mackay tries to dribble one from about 40 out. It gets to Henry. Awkward bounce. He was able to gather the ball. Chips short. It's a risky kick. Fogarty no mark. He tried to chip in front of Stewart. Stewart back by hand to Blitzarves. Good smother, Fogarty. Good passage of the play for the former Cat. And he forces a boundary throw in left forward pocket for Carlton.
Well, the pressure is thereabouts for Carlton, but it's the back end of a number of mistakes from Geelong and a number of senior players down there in the back line.
So boundary throw in. 30 out from the Carlton goal. Cripps doing the ruck work opposed to Stanley. They both share it. Spills down to Colonel, the Blues. Hand pass a little hot for Dow. Mops up, gives it to Walsh. Centering kick, dangerous ball. Higgins underneath it, no mark. Spills down to Fogarty. Hand pass to De Koning. Shoots goal, but he's across the goal face and it trickles out of bounds. throw in forward. Opposite pocket for the Blues, kicking to the City end in the opening term. And no surprises, Wiedering straight to Hawkins. He's kept him to 2 goals in their last 2 meetings. Kept him goalless in 2019 and then just 4 marks last year. 2 goals, 1 for Hawkins.
Ball tossed back in. Mackay doing the ruck work inside 50 this time. Kolajasny, hand pass to Guthrie, hand pass to Stanley, who kicks off a step. Stocker tried to outmatch Rowan, couldn't do so. Rowan able to gather. Hand pass to Myers. Myers looking for a way out. Underground hand pass to Hawkins, who didn't gather. Walsh didn't either for the Blues. Tui. Hand pass to Holmes. Now a chance for O'Connor, who gets around one tackle, works the 1-2 nicely, though dropped it cold. Walsh in there. He'll want the boundary line. Just hand passed it blindly back inside it. Landed with Newman. He missed the target by hand. Myers. A hand pass to Tui, who gets behind Settle Wing, then kicks long. Nunes positioned well and takes a one-hander going back with the flight of the ball inside defensive 50, matched up against Smith.
He swings a long kick out to Curnow, who marks still at half-back for Carlton. Short ball to Silvani, who marks just on the defensive side of halfway. Carlton 1 behind, Geelong yet to score. He turns and finds Martin, who's hitting up and marking just forward of halfway. Southern wing for the Blues. Floodlights on, clear blue skies. And a yellow footy out, twilight football at the G. He's back to Wiedering, and Wiedering short to Martin, still on the southern wing.
Martin short inboard, finds Williams back in the lineup this afternoon. Williams the long switch to the opposite wing. Newman takes the mark. Hand pass quickly to Stocker. Stocker to enter inside 50. Not a great kick, straight down the throat of Henry, who takes it going back with the flight.
They've been better in recent weeks, Carlton, defensively. They've kept their opponents in their last 2 games to 68 points. In the previous 9 games, they were averaging 96 points against. Beach, you're on this narrative really early in the year. I'm interested to get your thoughts this afternoon. If you notice much different from Carlton, sort of post the bye. We've heard a lot this week about their changes in their team defence as Isaac Smith from the back pocket, long ball to the southern wing. Sard Sockers out wide, close to the boundary line. Sockers twice, 3 times, 4 times keeps it alive and then makes another 30 metres before it drifts out of play. And a boundary throw in 70 metres out from the Carlton goal at the City end.
Been watching the Euros there. Opted not to pick it up. 4 or 5 dribbles and then down the line, gaining territory for the Blues. Toss back in, 70 from goal to Koning. Stanley muscled him out of it. Cripps from the clearance. Hand pass to Walsh, who might pull the trigger from 50. He does. He keeps it low. Misses near side. 1 behind. Carlton double their lead. They're 2 behinds. Geelong yet to score.
Carlton looking a sharper team here, Lids. Geelong are just mistakes, fumbles, a bit of overuse around the contest.
First 2 scores for the Blues, both behind, 7.5 minutes in. Isaac Smith plays on from the goal square and then drives his left footer up to the wing. Blitzards competes, slips out the back to Mackay right on halfway, kicks it into Parfitt. Spills down towards Geelong's way. Parfitt gathers, shakes a high tackle. Advantage applied, heads down to Close, who marks 70 out, still at left half forward. Can put Geelong inside 50 at the punt road end. Big Sav's down there, he's got it. Radikalia, 15 out, right in front, takes the mark for the Cats.
A couple of minutes ago, I was about to mention just that matchup, that they're a little bit undersized with Jones going out of the team. So Radikalia is standing about a foot taller than Plowman down there, who's got now the job on the second tallest. You may mention calls about Wiedering having a good record on Hawkins. He'll be going to him, so Plowman's got his hands full tonight if they get good delivery.
Missed the game against the Bombers. He's back and he's kicking the opener. Asava Radikalia with the first. Geelong 1 straight 6. Carlton a couple of behinds. 9 minutes into the opening term. Just repeating full time in Launceston. Fremantle by 62 points over the Hawks. They're into 7th spot provisionally on the AFL table.
Well, initially the Blues did pretty well to win that ball back, but it was just lack of composure probably from Harry Mackay, but good defensive pressure also from Parfitt. Got in the way, smothered the ball, and then had his head ripped off. Moved the ball on quickly. Close, maybe could have wheeled and gone. He had Hawkins almost with a bit of space but over his back shoulder. Just held it up enough and then went long to the hot spot where he saw that out, where he saw Radikalia, the mismatch on Plowman. So you've got to utilise those, don't you? And that's what we talk about regularly, being able to just put it to the advantage of the big key forwards, give them a chance. If he gets his arms up, he's too good.
To Koning and Stanley in the ruck. To Koning down to Kennedy. Hand pass back to De Koning, who kicks with his right boot. Clearance for the ruckman. Where are the leapers? Mackay got up front and centre. Lovely hand pass by Owies to Petrevski-Seton, who runs in and kicks Carlton's first. Slick ball movement by the Blues. 1-2-8. 1 goal Geelong. The margin 2 points in favour of Carlton. 10 goal in opening term.
It was a good follow-up from McConning through that ruck contest. He actually had an opportunity, I think, for a short handball just to get that ball in even deeper for Carlton, but predictable football. Mackay making the contest and then the Smalls getting to work on the ground. So always done a really good job. Been really impressed with him and his... I think he cemented his spot in the team. I think we're past that. He's a really good contributor each week for Carlton. So there's a kind of find from nowhere. And Petrevski-Seton, who's... he's just about played every kind of small position on the ground, isn't he? So still searching for his perfect position, but a really good finish. So pretty good football from the Blues.
First goal of the year for Petrevski-Seton. Both teams winning 3 of their last 4 at this ground too at the MCG after really indifferent records here in the past, particularly for Geelong in big-time finals. As Stanley out of the middle, hand pass to Parfitt, kicks down to half-forward. Newman caught out of position, clever little tap down to the advantage of Williamson. The late inclusion through the middle of the G, Cripps up to meet it, can't take the mark, tackled without it. Stanley drilled him into the ground and Cripps will get the free. Alongside the centre circles. Came in with that foot injury, but taking his place, he lays it off to Stocker. Inside 50, Petrevski-Seton. The goal kicker from moments ago, he leaps up and marks overhead. 35 out right in front.
Well, if I'm Liam Stocker, I'm changing those boots. That's a couple of kicks now that he's absolutely munged. He'll probably claim that one. I reckon he will later in the night if they get the win. He'll be saying, nah, laced him out. I saw him at the corner of my eye. He said he was playing every small position. Played like a big man there. Sam Petrevski-Seton jumping up. Young Atkins just losing touch with him at the moment, isn't he? He needs to put a bit more body into him.
In Sid Jackson's famous number 5, Sam Petrevski-Seton moves in and misses. Out to the left, 35 out right in front. Looks like the Blues all over them here early, and yet they lead by just 3 points. It's 1-3 to 1 straight, 12 minutes in. Carlton by 3.
Henderson with the kick in has Stewart short, who goes immediately. Couple of matchups favourable for the Cats here. Dangerfield on Curnow was one of them, and Curnow infringes. As Dangerfield got away from him, just held back. Dangerfield short to Menegola, who takes the mark right on centre wing. Looking for Hawkins forward of the ball. Instead, he darts it in short to the point of the centre square where Stewart takes the mark.
The dual All-Australian at half-back. Tom Stewart with the shoulder strapping on again today. Just sends a high ball down towards half forward. Hawkins wrestling with Wiedering. Got rid of him. Takes the mark. Hawkins 60 out in that launch pad. Spears the kick in the rolling direction. And Stocker standing in front takes the intercept mark. Let's see how he uses this. Plenty of hang time on the kick out to Mackay. A little nudge to Henderson. Can't take the mark. Spills to Atkins. Mackay drills him into the ground in the tackle. And the umpire says, I'll have it. Ball up on the southern wing. Carlton 1-3. Geelong 1 straight. 13 minutes played opening term.
Silvani against Blitzarves in the ruck. Didn't get the tap. Almost got the clearance. Williamson from the back of the stoppage. Kicks blindly. Mark taken by Tui, who receives a few boos as well.
Oh, jeez.
Tui playing his 100th game for the Cats actually this afternoon. Played 100 at Carlton and Geelong. He goes to Henderson, the former ex-Blue. Kicks inside 50. No mark taken. Dangerfield looking to break the Dow tackle. Couldn't do so. Nunes just slams it on his boot and it's coming back. Atkins takes the mark.
Straightens up back to Tui. Cue the Carlton fans. So 100 club games, as Maisie said, for Tui. 100 senior games for Sam Menegola and 200 games for Lockie Henderson, that man out on the southern wing across 3 different clubs. He straightens up again, short to Atkins.
Maybe the banner was going to be too big.
Short game to Colin Jasney, 70 out, turns and kicks hurriedly into the pocket. Oh, and in the end, Nunes crashes into the boundary umpire. The ball went out on the full. It's going to be a Carlton free kick. Last line of defence, and Wiedering's going to take it alongside the behind post. Carlton are 1-3, Geelong 1 straight, 14 minutes in. Blues by 3 points. And Fremantle 62-point winners over Hawthorn, the only other game completed today.
Short by Wiedering to Nunes. Nunes about 30 out from his defensive goal, goes long. Mackay in a one-on-one, and he's paid the mark. Could have been held as well. Waiting for the ball to come back. A few Blues ran past it, so Nunes, who actually kicked it to him, has to go and fetch it. Gives it back to Mackay. Long way up the ground, left half back here at the MCG. Big Harry Mackay, the Coleman medal leader. High kick, good luck marking that one. Caught 3 deep is Silvani, went the fist. Parfitt works the 1-2 with Tui, and then to Blitzarves. He's tackled, just got a hand pass inboard. Nunes and Curnow had to sort it out. Hand pass to Williams, hand pass inboard on centre wing to Walsh. Loops one over the top. Dow had to ride the tackle, did well, got out of it. Hand pass back to Williams, who snaps inside 50. Kolodjasny let it go. Lovely tracking back by Blitzarves. Got the hand pass across there to Menengola, who goes to the wing. Now there's a one-on-one battle between Rowan and Stocker. Rowan did exceptionally well. Stocker grabbed him. Rowan hand passed it over the boundary line, and Rowan has gone to the interchange bench and doesn't even know he has the free kick for a trip. Goes back to collect the ball right on the wing. 15 played opening term, Blues by 3.
They can boo all they want, but that free kick was there. His initial contact was below the leg.
So Rowan to take it. Sends a high kick down to half forward, Wiedering across and whacks it out of play. Puts it 2 rows back. Another boundary throwing 60 out from the Geelong goal. 1-3 to 1 straight. Silvani, unusual ruckman, doing the work, getting to the front, winning the hit out, down to Cripps, tumbles a kick up to halfway. Mackay wrestles with Henderson. Petrevski-Seton bounces off. Oh, he's his own teammate. Geelong win the footy. Tui by hand to Guthrie, to Kolodjasny, back to Tui. And retreats with the kick all the way back to Atkins. The former forward turn defender goes short to Guthrie again at centre half back for the Cats.
Guthrie plays on, has Myers, almost missed him. Myers did extremely well to take the chest mark. Had an option on quickly, ignored him. That was Holmes. Instead holds the ball. Goes short to Menengola. Still just behind centre wing. Menengola goes quickly. Turns it over to Nunes. Hand pass to Cripps. Cripps. Short kick is a good one to find Betts. He's at left half forward. Mackay wanting it out the back. Short leaders from Curnow, and he hits him. 40 metres out. 45-degree angle to the left.
Well, it was good work there, wasn't it? That turnover, the decision to keep going forward is what opened it up and allowed the forwards to get on their bike and get moving. Good decision, good kick from Paddy Cripps too. He only really had Eddie Betts on, so he had to just measure that to him. They found Ed Curnow.
They need some reward on the effort, for their effort rather, the Blues. Curnow comes in, he's tugged it as well. One behind. Carlton 1-4-10. Geelong 1 straight 6. 17 played opening term on Grandstand AFL.
And they're doing a good job. They're slowing Geelong up. We know that Geelong like to play their kick mark game, but there's no real fluency to it because Carlton's ability to spread from the initial contact, there's not as much like ball watching, lack of spread that we've seen from Carlton in the past. So at the minute, when Geelong do win the ball, there's not too many obvious options. So they're then forced to kick it sideways, and that's when Carlton are doing a really good job then to slow them down.
Tui long kick to the wing, and Radagalia takes a pack mark, turns and sends his kick down to half forward, and DeConing with the intercept mark for Carlton. So to the opposing ruckman, looks back down the wing, tried to get it away towards Williamson unsuccessfully. Higgins wins it for Geelong, looks for Holmes in the middle of the ground. He turns and laces out Buse, who's drifting forward and takes the mark. Left half forward for the Cats. He'll shoot from 45 out.
It was a clever kick from Menengola in the end, wasn't it? I wasn't sure about it initially, but he kept it underneath the guy.
But it was almost a mirror image of the turnover that Geelong just had and that Carlton scored on.
Buse' set shot is good off the boot, and he's got it. So Geelong kicking some against the trend. They're 2 straight. Carlton are 1-4. 19 minutes into the opening term. We've got our third lead change of the game already, and an early one for Jed Buse.
Yeah, so mirror image, turned the ball over there through the corridor. Geelong then went quick again, got it to this open side, just like Carlton did. Well, not really the open side, but they went quick off the turnover back through the corridor they did get, which got them a really good shot on goal, and the only difference is Buse kicks his and Curnow's miss.
It was a really nice kick from Holmes, wasn't it? It had to get there low and hard, and it did. Gave Buse a great opportunity, didn't force him back up to the footy where he might have been on his distance, so Nice kick in from Holmes. Clever from Menegola to get it to Holmes initially. And then a great finish. Got to take your chances in these big games, and Carlton have missed a couple of theirs.
Cats by 2. 19 played opening term. Ball back in the middle. Litzarv's doing the ruck work this time against De Koning. Well, Shark by Dangerfield. Was almost squeezed on his kick. Just got his boot to ball. Guthrie didn't win the one-on-one. Now a chance for Williamson for the Blues. Hand pass to Plowman. His hand pass back to Williamson was too hot. Parfitt burst onto it. Short chip. He was looking for Hawkins. Fell in the middle of him and Holmes. Now Wiedering picks it up. He's tackled immediately. Umpire says play on as it's built free finally. And then Sard able to mop up for Carlton. Hand pass to Newman. Newman just pulling his handball at the last minute to the left. Stocker. That looks like it's off the other side of the boot. Not the instep that time. And it just drifted away from Curnow. Mark taken by Henderson.
I think Stocker just youngish player, but he just needs to work with these limitations. I think he's just trying a little bit too much there. Even that, you got a behind the goals view on the replay, and there was nothing obvious there, so he's just kicked it to the advantage of Geelong players. So just be a bit more conservative with your ball use.
Dangerous ball out wide, spills front and centre to Myers, puts it inside 50, but Wiedering in front of Hawkins takes the intercept mark for Carlton. Fascinating duel all afternoon. A slower play here for the Blues after a hot start. So Wiedering just goes long to a contest. Stewart rises over the pack. Whacks it out of bounds and a boundary throw in. Just forward of the wing for Geelong. Cats are the best contested ball team in the front half this season. So their contested possession numbers in the front half are plus 48. The second best in the competition is the Bulldogs plus 4. Brisbane are plus 1. And all other teams are in the negative in that category, to give you an idea on Geelong's dominance there.
Dow tried to break a couple of tackles. He just got boot to ball. Tui's able to mop up for the Cats. Got his hands free. Hand pass to Menegola, who just kicks forward. In the box seat this time is Newman. He takes the mark, going back with the flight. Newman for Carlton. Aggressive kick. And it's cut off this time by Close, who will look inside 50. He goes long. Newman trying to track back. Oh, waltzing through 3 Blues is Rowan. Made the running late and took a good mark. 20 out from goal. And at a 45-degree angle to the right.
Well, when the kick came in from Close, I looked forward and see Gary Rowan v3, maybe 4 defenders. Stocker was trailing, just couldn't quite get a body on, and no one really beeline to give Stocker a chop out because he was following. But it was a nice kick in the end, and Gary Rowan just kept his eye on the footy. Nick Newman probably just held back a bit too much.
Rowan, in he comes. Kicks from 40, hits the post. First blemish of the afternoon for the Cats, 2-1-13. Carlton 1-4-10, 22 played opening term.
Just like Newman, his instinctive was to go to that contest to mark it or spoil it, but then he second-guessed himself. So I think Stocker and both Wiedering were watching Newman with an expectation that he was going to go up and contest that footy.
Sard somehow got it out of the defensive 50 and found Kennedy, who takes the mark, lays it off by hand to Cripps. He's got the tag from O'Connor. Gaze gives it further wide to Petrevski-Seaton. His kick is too wide. Wanted Silvani and put it out of bounds on the full. So the polish is coming off a bit for Carlton here in the back end of the quarter. Had a nice start, didn't really take their chances. They're 1-4, Geelong are 2-1, so a 3-point lead for the Cats. Time on in the first. Stewart's ball down to half forward. Wiedering from the back, punches it back down the wing. Betts chases after it, inadvertently socks it into the face of Smith. Ricochets off his bonds to the advantage of Hughes. Takes on the tackle, floats a kick to half forward, but De Koning, the only man back, takes the intercept mark for Carlton. 3-point lead for Geelong.
De Koning cut off more than he asked for there, and now Smith on hands and knees just got his hand pass away to Myers, who kicks inside 50. Hawkins with the one hand, couldn't take the mark. Now Wiedering, the hand pass over the top, misses De Koning. Time for Carlton to breathe. 1-4-10. The Cats 2-1-13, but starting to get on top here in the back half of this opening quarter.
De Koning, that's twice again. It's almost in the same bracket as Stoker there. Just to know your limitations. As twice he's turned the ball over, and lucky enough it didn't go back over his head for a goal.
Wiedering matched up against Hawkins. Hawkins tapped down. Now Higgins turns it over. Newman just got the kick away for Carlton. Good mark taken by Curnow on defensive 50 for the Blues.
There was an expectation coming in that O'Connor would stand Walsh. Walsh up to 6 touches in the opening quarter. We saw De Boer keeping to 20 a few weeks ago, but looks like The run with Cripps as the ball comes out of the defensive 50 from Curnow. Pack forms on the wing and the umpire circles and says, I'll have it.
It's certainly not an old school lockdown though, Corbs, like Beach was probably used to. It's more just to see him at the stoppage and then move off.
Up it goes. DeConey palms it down to Kennedy, soccers it forward. Betts chases after it. Atkins went the bump on Betts. Betts collects the footy. Hand pass inside to Curnow. Kicks to Mackay and a one-on-one with Blitzarps. Blitzarps got enough of it. Spills down to Menegola. Locked up straight away. And the umpire says ball up, top of the goal square for the Blues. City end of the ground.
Geez, that's all you can ask for from your big key forward, isn't it? Give a contest, bounce straight back up, lock up a big tackle, keep it inside forward 50.
Throw a blanket over really 20 players around the footy here. Cripps again doing the ruck work. Cripps roving the ball, quickly snaps goal but misses. Across the face, a minor score. Shares a bit of a laugh with Reece Stanley. So a couple of times we've seen him contest the ruck at those ball ups inside 50. Carlton a 1-5. Geelong a 2-1. 26 played opening quarter. Cats by 2.
Tui with the kick in. It's a nice one as well to find Henderson. Those two have linked up a bit this afternoon. The two former Blues. Henderson just pushed off the kick at the last moment by Saad. Good pressure. And he forces a boundary throw in as the kick was wide on the wing.
Supporters don't forget, do they? Ever. Nope. It's a long time ago. Did Henderson leave off his own bat, or was he kind of...
I think he left.
Yeah.
Toss back into play. Stanley knocks it down to the advantage of Guthrie. Out wider to Higgins. He enters 50. Hawkins at the back, no mark. Then he lays a strong tackle on Stocker. And the umpire says, I'll have it. Just inside the boundary line. 25 metres around from the Cats' goal. We've played 26 minutes here. They lead by 2, Geelong.
So Wiedering and Hawkins to do the ruck work. Hawkins slaps it down. Saad dragged off his kick. Ump says play on. Guthrie in the pocket. Hand pass to Myers. Hooks it to the top of the goal square. Soccer tries to rush it through. Unsuccessfully. Newman scoops up for the Blues. A 1-2 with Nunes. Back to Newman. And that's clever. Around the body. Finds Martin skidding in to take the mark at half back for Carlton.
Martin was looking inboard initially. And he's been told to go down the line. It looks like from the bench down below. Martin. That's exactly where he heads. Stewart third in line. That customary fist over the top. And it goes down the race as well. So it's a good fist, that one. Players will take a bit of time to reset.
I'm not sure you can say Newman, Nunes and Newman quick too many times in a row.
You did well, mate.
Let's hope they don't link up too many times. Toss back into play. To Koning. Down to Cripps. Cripps dives, rather, and he's out of the contest. Now Atkins. Hand pass to Guthrie, who on his left boot is looking for Hawkins, who had a space there on Wiedering. Now Hawkins gets the free kick. No? Is it going to Wiedering? It is. Well, that was interesting. Hawkins thought he had it. Wiedering thought he had it. Both walked to the top of their mark, and the umpire pointed Wiedering's way. And he was just waiting for the siren to close proceedings in this opening term. Blues came out firing, couldn't capitalise. Cats on top in the back half of that opening quarter. 27 minutes and 50 seconds it ran. Geelong 2-1-13. Carlton 1-5-11. Radicalera and Hughes with the goals for the Cats. Petrevski-Seaton with the only major for the Blues.
A couple of late changes coming into. Casbolt with a knee complaint. Liam Jones with a back injury. So 2 late outs for Carlton. Setterfield and Williamson took their place. The 2 Medi-subs, Quentin Narkle and Matt Cottrell, neither of them required for Geelong and Carlton respectively. One game completed earlier today, a 62-point win for the Dockers down in Launceston. 16-12 to 6-10 they beat the Hawks. They're now 7th on the table. Fremantle, obviously with a few results still to be shaken out across the weekend, but they're 8-8 and well and truly in the season with 6 to play. Fremantle celebrating a win in Nat Fyfe's 200th. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, it's quarter time at the G. The Cats by 2 points. This is Grandstand AFL.
What do you think makes someone an Australian of the Year?
It's people who show courage, sacrifice and kindness.
Now's the time to reflect
on your community
and who you admire.
Now's the time to respect
by nominating and acknowledging them.
Now's the time to celebrate
their story, their contribution and their generosity.
I'm Hamish McDonald, and I'd love you to nominate your inspirational Australian by the 31st of July at australianoftheyear.org.au.
ABC Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases her first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Heads down to Close, who marks, can put Geelong inside 50 at the punt road end. Big Sab's down there, he's got it. Radikalia, 15 out, right in front, takes the mark for the Cats. Missed the game against the Bombers, he's back and he's kicking the opener. Asava Radikalia with the first.
De Koning, who kicks with his right boot, clearance for the ruckman. Where are the leapers? Mackay got up, front and centre. Lovely hand pass by Owies to Petrovsky. Seaton, who runs in and kicks Carlton's first.
Higgins wins it for Geelong, looks for home to the middle of the ground. He turns and laces out Buse, who's drifting forward and takes the mark. Left half forward for the Cats, who's shooting 45 out. Buse's set shot is good off the boot, and he's got it.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
3 lead changes in Q1, but it's Geelong by 2 points at quarter time. I don't know if you caught amongst those promos. Ash Barty in the Wimbledon final tonight against Carolina Pliskova for all the marbles. You can hear it here on ABC Radio, 10:30 Australian Eastern Time tonight. So the full coverage of Barty Pliskova for the ladies' title at Wimbledon. Quarter time at the G, Cats by 2. Brendan Goddard, Brett Delidio with their take.
Yeah, it was both teams kind of found it hard to kick it through the two big ones, didn't they? But I thought Carlton were pretty solid and probably had the better of Geelong that quarter. Geelong, again, they happy to go into that kick mark, try and kick their way through the kind of team defence of Carlton, but struggled at times. So it's a good start by Carlton defensively. As I said, I wanted to see what had changed, what it looked like off the back end of a couple of weeks, and some tweaks being made. So they're doing a pretty good job. But if we're able, Geelong just able to get through that and then get that isolation. Radikalia, Plowman, even still Hawkins, Wiedering, still dangerous. So I think they can really be efficient going inside 50. But at the minute, Carlton are doing a pretty good job, and albeit from some poor kicking, they should be a couple in front.
Yeah, I think it's not a. They're setting up pretty well, Carlton. I think that's the pleasing thing from onlookers, in questioning their ability to defend. It certainly hasn't been a high-pressure tackle game, because they've both got 9 tackles each, so it's a bit of an uncontested mark, get it out in open space, flick it around. Certainly that's the way the Cats like to play with the disposals. 103 to the Cats, 87 to the Blues. So they both got their chances with the footy. It's been just disappointing that the Blues haven't been able to capitalise, essentially with some easier set shots, haven't they? That they could really put the Cats under pressure and see what they're made of. But then the Cats on the flip side have been able to go back the other end and capitalise on theirs. So, yeah, for the Blues, it's more about just cleaning up their couple of skill errors. The decision-making at times in their set shot goal kicking would really help them. But the Cats just seem to be, they're happy with that chip and hold possessions type game, aren't they, Beach? Look, it's not
I think it's not a bad way to start, where you test the waters, test the defence and the team defence of Carlton. Yeah, and everyone touch a footy, so it's a bit of feel good. But you can't continue to do this if you're not getting results from it. So an experienced team like Geelong, experienced coaching group, and it's like, all right, boys, this is plan A. Carlton are essentially up to the challenge in terms of defensively, so let's try for
the first bit, aren't they?
Yeah, so they could potentially start now, and if it's still trending that way, then change the way they want to move it, get a bit more speed into it, the overlap handball from behind, overlap run, get it to your isolated tall forwards, which again, if they can get it there, I think it's a real positive and real dangerous, or it is really dangerous for Geelong. So, and on the other hand, it's just kind of that Achilles heel of Carlton in their inside 50s, poor ball use, and they've got a bit of time and space. We mentioned about Stocker earlier, twice going. He's got lucky once when Petrovsky Seaton marked one, and then De Koning just getting his ability mixed up with his ambition, just to know your limitations, kick it long down the line, don't try and bite off more than you can chew, and lucky that didn't go over the head for a goal, but just clean up a few skill errors.
Second quarter action underway. Geelong by 2. Stanley in the middle wins the tap. Dow onto the footy first, though. He's lost it in the tackle. Spills out to Dangerfield. He just pushes off Walsh. Gets the centre break for Geelong. Kicks inside 50. Wiedering and Hawkins. Wiedering spoils, but Hawkins at the drop. Kicks it up. Shakes the kick. Skids across the ground inside 50. Stocker hands it back to Nunes. His kick smothered. Rowan traps it in the forward pocket. Taps it out to Parfitt. Goes to ground. He threw it out to Radaglia. And a free kick's coming back to Jack Nunes in the back pocket for Carlton. 2-point lead for Geelong, 30 seconds into the second quarter.
Umpire 40 metres away called that one, not the one closest to the action. Nunes, long kick out of defence. Silvani works his way to the front. Henderson's waiting at the back. Silvani gets onto him. Henderson, hand pass to Buse. Buse sees it out for a throw-in. Just forward of centre wing.
Just on the kicking efficiency in that opening quarter, Carlton are actually ranked 18th in that category, Geelong 2. Kicking efficiency percentage-wise in that opening term, Carlton at 54%, below their season average, and Geelong above theirs at 71.
Walsh looking for the clearance. Ball spits out the side of the stoppage to De Koning, who just slams it on his boot. It'll trickle inside 50. Mackay trailing behind Blitzarves, who shields the way perfectly for Stewart, who sweeps on it. Big one-on-one coming here. Sard keeps it in front of himself. Close recovers best. Sard then tackles him. Close got some sort of a hand pass away to Kolajasny, who kept bursting through the centre of the MCG. Eventually picks it up, did well. Hand pass to Parfitt. End over end ball inside 50. Radaglia trying to gather. 1, 2, then 3 attempts. Good hand pass to Rowan. Hand pass centrally to Smith. The out is finally Parfitt. He got tackled. Back to Smith, who kept on running. Isaac Smith snaps and goals. Wonderful work by the veteran. Geelong have their third, the opening of this second term. 3-1-19. Carlton 1-5-11. 2 minutes played.
Oh, good reward for effort there from Izzy Smith. He probably could have got the handball initially from Parfitt with that end-on-end tumbler that he put inside forward 50. But just kept working down. Good follow-up from Sava Radaglia as well. Gary Rowan flicks it over to Izzy. Follow-up again, and always been a good finisher on his left. Boy from the Hawks, and Redan initially.
Redan.
A small country town just outside of Ballarat.
Well, it was when the ball got kicked in from Parfitt along the ground. They did a pretty good job at cleaning out Radaglia. 2 or 3 efforts, clean with his hands, and then it was a chain of possessions by hands to find a bit of time and space to have a shot on goal. So it was a pretty good goal in the end by the Cats.
8-point lead for Geelong. 3 goals to 1. Back in the middle, the ruck share it. Spills to Dow. Gets the clearance for Carlton. Out to that outer wing. Nunes had a fumble. Smith back on it for Geelong. Hand pass back into dispute. O'Connor has it. Goes to ground and Cripps steals it from him. Carlton win it back. Hand pass to Nunes. Short kick to Curnow. Turns and plays on immediately. Closes to 50 out. Kicks for the goal square. Getting back. Kolajasny punches it into the goal post, and a rush behind on the board for Carlton. So 7 scoring shots to 4. Carlton 1-6. Geelong 3-1. It's the Cats by 7 points early doors in the second term.
Stewart short to Smith. Long kick out of defence is a good one, and good mark taken by Dangerfield. In fact, he got paid the free kick in the end. Hand pass to Stanley running past, and Stanley kicks high inside 50. Close, couldn't get a run at it. And Wiedering able to zone off and take the intercepting mark. Wiedering short across the face of goal. Williamson, he goes wide outside of defensive 50. Chest mark taken by Plowman. Plowman short. A great kick for Setterfield, who kept his feet despite being spoiled, then snaps blindly. Henry will swallow this up on the wing.
He goes short back inboard to Close.
Says Petruski, Seaton and Mackay have to reposition once that ball's almost turned over. They're still 70 metres from the contest. They're hoping that it gets through, and they're the last line, and they're closer to goal. But they've got to push up and be within a kick and help Setterfield with that. When they did make a mistake, they've got to be that bailout kick down the line.
Close to Buse, and then Buse long into a congested forward 50, and safety of the boundary line found by Carlton. Plowman tried to spoil it over. In the end, it's Sard who walks it out. 35 out from Geelong's goal. The Cats to the city end. In this second quarter, they lead by 7 points. 4.5 minutes played. Quarter number 2. Again, Hawkins grabbing it out of the ruck for the boundary throw-in. Tackled by Wiedering, taken to ground. Hand pass forward to Dangerfield. He's tackled by Stocker, lost it. Williams with the clearing kick for Carlton. Henry flies over the pack, half forward for Geelong. Ball in dispute, spills down to Parfitt. Parfitt sends a high ball back inside 50. Radicalier running at it. Collides with Rowan in the air. Spills down to Dow. Dow for Carlton under pressure. Just got the kick away. Tumbles away to Max Holmes. The only teenager on the ground. He snaps goalward but misses. A little too much hook on it and a minor score. Geelong a 3-2. Carlton a 1-6. 5 minutes into the second term. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Just having a look at Matt Kennedy on the bench for the Blues. He's got the jacket on. He's not injured. I think he's just cold.
It's that sort of night. Sard, short, again put Setterfield under all sorts of pressure. Spoiled away from him, close, had a fumble at the crucial moment. Menegola, lovely pick up, kick inside 50, was smothered partially. Sard back onto it, kicks long. Mackay pushed under the ball. Blitzarves did nicely. And Kolajasny takes the intercept mark. He can enter 50 again if he goes long. Couple of short options. One of them is Menegola. Instead, he is going to go inside 50. He loads up. Dangerfield his target. Will he get a run at it? It's a bit longer. Radicalier. Umpire's paid a free kick. It's going the Blues' way. Wiedering for the second time gets a free kick matched up against Hawkins.
Just repeating full time in the earlier game. A 62-point win for Fremantle over Hawthorn. So the Dockers not just in the 8th, but in 7th spot on the table at 8-8. Here it's Geelong by 8 points. Wiedering clears out of the defensive 50. Mackay the target. Petrevsky seat in front and centre. Tackled, dispossessed. Lets them roll again. There's 8 or 9 players over it. It spits out the back of the pack. Walsh skids in on top of it. His hand pass ends up with Holmes. 60 out for the Geelong goal. Gives it to Menegola. Kicks for Hawkins. Skids straight off his chest. Stocker collects. He's met front on. And going over the top, Gary Rowan gives away the free. Stocker to take it for the Blues.
Kicks it to Plowman, who waltzes outside of defensive 50. Then he goes wider, almost too wide, although Nunes will get there on a couple of bounces. Kick inside was good to Curnow. Curnow short. He might have turned it over. He has. Stewart takes it and runs. Puts the ball under his arm. He's looking for Radicalier. Asked him to lead towards the pocket. Ball almost gets out of bounds. It does. Just beats him to the boundary line. And a ball in about 60 from the goal for the Cats.
Well, I don't know whether it's the Cats and their ability to set up and read it or whether the Blues just aren't kicking it that well, but they've chopped off nearly their last 3 or 4 attempts at short passes. So probably credit to the Cats defenders and their ability to read the cues on that one.
Yeah, and it's Stewart setting up as that plus one, almost like, I'm not sure if they've changed because I haven't seen a lot of Geelong live, but he's playing as that wicketkeeper like Melbourne do. So, but he comes up at the right time to take that spare or dangerous player at Carlton, but no one's pushing hard forward for Carlton to actually soak him up and force him to actually defend a one-on-one as opposed to just picking off and, picking up a loose as such.
Blues at right half back. They work it through hands. Walsh short to Owies, who plays on immediately. Hand pass to Betts. Hand pass to Silvani, who kicks. Still outside of the attacking 50. Curnow. Hand pass over the top to Mackay. Forward pocket. Gets on his left. Snaps. Too far. One behind. Carlton now 1 goal, 7-13. Geelong 3-2-28. Played second term. Jess Webster downstairs.
Paddy Cripps has just come hobbling to the bench for the Blues. He's getting his right thigh heavily strapped up. It looks like a corky, I think.
Can't take a trick at the moment. And that foot injury that he carried, obviously picked up late last week against the Dockers and has struggled with it all week. And clearing kick out of defence from the Cats. And outsized Curnow hanging all over Blitzarves gives away the free at half-back. Geelong footy. It's a cool, clear day in Melbourne today. And it just looks cold as the sun sets in Melbourne. The floodlights starting to take over. Blitzarves goes short to Menegola across the half-back line to Stewart. Pokes the pass out of the defensive arc to Kolajasny. Slow build up for the Cats. Comes wide with a kick to Stanley. Spills the mark as he comes to ground. Setterfield clever. Taps it to the advantage of De Koning. Kicks down to half forward. Kolajasny there with Betts. Kolajasny wins the one-on-one. Hand pass away to Stanley. Back inside traffic to Atkins. They work it up into the front half. Short kick in front of Close. Gets a touch on it. And over the boundary it goes. A throw in just forward of halfway for Geelong. Cats 3-2-20. Carlton 1-7-13. A 7-point lead for Geelong. We had 3 lead changes in the opening term. We've travelled now 9 minutes in the second quarter. Isaac Smith with the only goal in the term.
Stanley, hand pass from the ruck contest to Menegola. Nice dummy. Got his hands free to ride the Cripps tackle. 1-2 between Guthrie and Parfitt. And Guthrie goes back to find Stewart on the wing. Nice composure by the Cats. He's got one option short, that's Tui. He's called to play on. Fogarty tries to close down the space. He heads to the top of 50. Radigalea, a lot taller than Plowman, couldn't complete the mark on the way down. Newman tries to come away with it. He's tackled. Higgins in over the top, and we'll have a stoppage. 60 from the Cats' goal.
Of course, the SMS 0437 774 774. High teams, some chance we're going to need fog lights soon.
It is starting to get a little foggy from the clearance. Well done by Kennedy and Walsh to work the 1-2, and again Walsh hand pass to Betts. Betts long inside 50. Mackay's caught behind Henry. Great spoil over the top. Henderson was caught in front. Mackay tried to reach over, but Henry got the decisive fist in. Out of play, left forward pocket for the Blues.
But you see that, Lids, both players are both running back towards goal. Where's the
little tick up
communication or the work, selfless work, teamwork to actually one go back, one come up at the footy? Someone's got to offer a lead. They've got to get more out of that Carlton. Eddie Betts has got time and space to make a really good decision with two Carlton players ahead of him, with two defenders with the whole 50 worth of space. So they've got to get more out of those inside 50s.
From the boundary throw in, Cripps is back on and still rucking. So their captain doing a lot of the ruck work when it's inside forward 50. And Betts trying to slide onto a loose ball as it spills to the top of the goal square, caught the contact below the knees as he takes Henderson down low. Henderson with the free out to half-back. Long kick to Dangerfield, spills the mark. Lays a hand pass back to Kolajasny, back to Higgins by hand. And away to Menegola. Kicks out of the defensive 50. Up onto the wing. Wiedering and Hawkins in a one-on-one. They both share it. Spills down to Newman of the Blues. Hand pass to Silvani. Dances through a would-be tackler. Hand pass back to Williamson. Sweeping hand pass to Petrevski-Seaton. In front of the interchange gates. Goes off his left and hits up Walsh, who doesn't take the mark but was taken high on the way down by Buse. And a third-year star from the Carlton Football Club. 55 consecutive games from debut, round 1 2019. Sam Walsh takes it 70 out, had a half forward.
Kicks it off the instep, and it's going to land in the lap of Mackay, who takes the mark on the lead. Not quite sure that's where it was intended. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And Harry will line up from inside the left forward pocket.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I thought that was a pretty nicely pulled kick, but you don't rate it, BJ. I'll back you. You're the kicking expert in this box.
It was not sure. It's hard to see where his vision, like reading the cues. It was across his body, but that was the only bit of space. So maybe he just put it there. Because
Mackay from 40 goes the banana.
Sorry, I'm still watching the replay on the telly.
It was quite quick. He didn't take all 30 seconds.
Well, that's him, mate. He doesn't want to think about it.
8 behinds for the Blues. 1-8-14. Geelong 3-2-20.
Cats by 6 points. They work it out of the defensive arc quickly. Up towards Rowan on the wing. No mark. Stocker knocks it back to Fogarty in the middle of the ground. He's set upon quickly against his old team for the first time. Lockie Fogarty extracts it eventually. Gives it to Walsh. Away to Cripps. He's tackled. Again, the umpire says play on. Pack eventually forms in the middle of the ground and will have a ball up. Geelong 3-2. Carlton 1-8. So 5 scoring shots to 9, and yet it's the team with 5 scoring shots, the Cats, who lead it by 6 points. Clearing kick out of traffic from the Cats. Out to Myers, who gets it at half forward. Hands it back to Close, and his hand pass all the way back to Atkins on the southern wing. Kicks inside the forward 50. Plowman undersized against Radigalea. Gets the spoil. Down to Newman. Carlton out of traffic. Williamson to Williams. Away to Nunes. Kicks out of the defensive 50, and Cripps up strong, taking the mark at half back for Carlton.
Hand pass straight away to Dow. To Kennedy, back to Dow, who kept on running. Darts inside, almost caught he was. Holding the ball. Cats pressure too good on the wing. Atkins with the free kick. He comes inboard to Guthrie, who's got a bit of space. The switch is on across the square if he wants it. He opts against it. Instead, short. And he finds Blitzarves inside the centre square. Blitzarves still looking at that switch. O'Connor's standing on the broadcast wing by himself. He's opted against it as well. Goes back. Now called to play on. Oh, that's a shocking kick. Came off his shin. Found Myers. Kick from Atkins. Inside 50. That's better. Radigalea takes the sliding chest mark. He'll kick from 40 out directly in front.
How many of those have we seen today? The old inside-out, torpy, mongrel, whatever you want to call them, land on a chest.
Yeah. They all go down as effective kicks.
Mate. You don't draw pictures, do you? You don't write the article about how...
There's no pictures on the scorecard.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But fortunate, but beautiful little touch kick from Atkins going inside the Radigalea. His first set shot was really nice.
There's that courage just to give that one to Adkins, and doesn't allow Carlton's defenders then to readjust and get better positioning, and they hit that lead up.
Radigalea 40 out to make the Blues pay. That's not a great effort away to the right. One behind. 3-3-21 now, the Cats. The Blues 1 goal, 8-14. We've played 15 minutes in the second term.
Dangerous kick out, just hits up Walsh. A short pass from Zach Williams. Walsh's kick wasn't 15, away to Stocker, told to play on. Hurried kick over his shoulder. Newman knocks it in the direction of Williams. Back to Walsh, off his left, out of the defensive 50 and finds Owies, who takes the mark at half-back. So Carlton get out of the bind. 7-point lead for Geelong. 15 played second turn. Hand pass to Walsh. Third involvement in the chain. Gives it over to Setterfield. Back to Walsh. Hurried kick down the wing. O'Connor can't mark. Has it spoiled late. Always hand pass. Finds the boundary line. No, it doesn't. Tui keeps it alive. Takes on the tackler. Back into dispute. Atkins is tackled and dispossessed. The greasy, slippery footy in front of us on the bench, in front of the broadcast wing. Eventually, Blitzovs got it to Buse. Hand pass to Parfitt. Kicks to a one-on-one at half-forward. Radigalea and Plowman. Neither can mark, and Zach Williams just tumbles a kick back down the wing.
Shocking kick from Williams. Tui attacked it. Might have been legged. Umpire said yes. It's coming back. Blues fans not happy below us.
Was it legged or was it holding the man?
Paid the trip.
No, it wasn't there.
Short kick. Misses the target. Getting it on the half volley was Higgins, who had to go back to Tui. Inside 50, Radigalea, one grab and two, not the third. Guthrie, front and centre. Higgins hooks back, inside 50. Good mark by Williams, going back with the flight of the ball.
No Jeremy Cameron up front today, of course, for the Cats, out with that hammy. Radigalea is playing against an opponent undersized, but looks a real threat up front. He comes out wide towards Kennedy. Can't take the mark, spills down to Tui, hands it over his shoulder illegally, threw it out off his knees, and a free kick for Carlton at half-back. Matt Owies is going to take it. 17 played second quarter. Geelong by 7. 3-3 to 1-8. Carlton's only goal came 10 minutes into the game. They've done a lot right, but haven't been able to hit the scoreboard. The transition of play now out towards right half-back. Williamson with it. Got a late call up with Casbolt and Liam Jones, the two laid out, so Carlton pretty small. Williamson short to Cripps, very short kick to Nunes, put him under the pump. Ball turned over. Smith comes in to grab it for Geelong, sockers it down to half forward. Myers went without it. Zach Williams back on it to Williamson. Hand pass to Plowman, he's collared high. And Plowman will get it at right half back. Crowd involved, majority of them Carlton fans, we think nearing 40,000, which is the maximum in at the MCG Twilight Footy. 18 played second quarter, Geelong by 7.
Plowman sells a bit of candy. Inside defensive 52. It's a risky play, but it comes off. Hand pass to Williams, who kicks long. Bet Stewart, great mark. 1-on-1. And he takes it. He gets up with a little bit of a limp, as does Eddie, who's standing the mark.
It was such a poor kick. Stewart was the actual spare man down the line, literally with no one around him. He's kicked it directly on top of his head, and Eddie actually did a pretty good job to get across and try and make a contest.
Both are still limping away from that contest. Tui now at centre half back. Long kick, misses Henderson. Wider though, Higgins takes it on the bounce on the wing. Hand pass to O'Connor, who's got a bit of time to make his decision. Feigned to go inboard. He hugs the line instead. Henderson kept on drifting forward. He takes the mark. He'll want to go. Free kick. No, it's advantage paid Henderson, and the mark is paid anyway. Short kick to Myers. 55 from goal on the boundary line. Guthrie's short, ignores him. Myers looking inside a congested forward 50. He'll just go to the top of the square. It's a fairly flat kick, close, almost got a run at it. Now Wiedering, hand pass, he's taken, should be holding the ball. It isn't. Ball spilt free, umpire says. It'll be tossed in the right forward pocket for the Cats, who lead it by 7 after 19 minutes in the second term.
How did he dispose of that one?
Don't know.
He didn't, and he had prior opportunity too. I think just because it went out of bounds, got saved.
25 out from the Geelong goal at the City end. Boundary throw in right forward pocket to Koning. Wins the hit out, goes to ground. Cripps on it, tackled immediately, lost it. He's pushed in the back, Cripps. Free kick to come back. The Carlton captain, who's banged up, had a foot injury coming in. He's got his quad heavily strapped after receiving a corky. Jess Webster told us earlier in the quarter. Takes it by hand. We haven't seen him kick it too much today. Away to Williams. Comes out of the defensive 50. Fogarty floats across. Can't mark. Knocks it to Martin. No. Under pressure. Back to Fogarty. Gives it back to Martin. Kicks back inboard. Unkind bounce for Dow. Blitz halves onto it for Geelong. Right on halfway. Hand pass to Menegola. Feeds it forward by Henderson. Still on the members' wing. Back into the centre square for Higgins. Hand pass. He links up here with Stewart, who's running. Gets some open air as he kicks towards Radicalea. One out in the cage. Over his head. It bounces once and into the behind post. We'll have a throw in. Forward pocket for the Cats. Geelong by 7 as we tick into time on in the second quarter. Just the one goal. What do we think of Paddy Cripps doing some of the ruck work?
Not sure you want him doing that. I would have thought there'd be someone else who could stand there and wrestle with a big bloke.
Well, it's been Silvani, so is that what they think of Reece Stanley? Or
Guthrie had a swing at it, missed. Nunes picked it up, kicked it outside of defensive 50. Ball bounces end over end. Umpire comes in, delivery.
Here he comes. Look at him charge.
Silvani was probably 5 or 10 metres away, would you say, gents, from that contest?
Where's he?
Henderson with the free kick. 70 from goal. He'll wheel inside, then just kick to the hot spot to Cody. Oh, Rowan, what a mark!
Wow.
Rowan was up high. And Rowan has pulled down a ripper in the forward pocket.
That was a nice jump, wasn't it, Maisie? He called it well. It looked a lot higher. I think he's basically just stood. He just glanced De Koning on the way down, really, but nice catch and good job to hang on to it.
Gary Rowan, left forward pocket to finish the mark with a goal. He kicks and misses. 3-4-22 now the Cats. 1 goal, 8-14 the Blues. 22 played second quarter.
Just on the big man department as well for Carlton, obviously a bit of it out of their control with Casbolt-Jones laid out. Pitternet already missing, so they are undersized as Carlton come out of the defensive 50, and Newman, dangerous kick. The catch in the gully for Petrevski-Seaton, diving away to his left. And now back into the slow play Carlton. He comes out wide to Wiedering. Just the 1 goal for the Blues, 10 minutes into the game. 3 goals to 1, low scoring affair. Geelong by 8 points. Nice kick from Wiedering, hits up Sam Walsh. And the Carlton 21-year-old star with 16 already, down to half forward. Here's De Koning. Takes the mark. Brother Tom on Geelong's list. As his kick heads inside the forward 50 for Carlton, right to the hot spot. Mackay the target. Offhand slips down to Cripps. He's tackled, dispossessed. And Geelong went up last line of defence. Menegola by hand to Guthrie. High up and under out to half-back. De Koning flying. De Koning claims the mark and it's going to be paid. A one-on-one with Stewart, who thought he had a hand on it. And yet Tom De Koning's going to get the free kick left half forward for the Blues. And he'll shoot from just inside the 50-metre arc.
It's a tough one for the umpire. He may have touched it, but it wasn't that obvious. So the kick just needed to be a little bit deeper and wider for Geelong. It was still in a dangerous area, but they applied a good enough pressure from Carlton just to force a really rushed kick. But good mark in the end. Have to pay it, don't they? Can't not pay that.
So Tom De Koning, the lefty, on his way in. His set shot is out to the right. It's barely going to score. A bunch of them on the line and inadvertently backheeled through by Jack Henry for a minor. Carlton a 1-9, Geelong a 3-4. Of course, that's Tom De Koning for Carlton. His brother Sam De Koning. He's on Geelong's list, of course. 7-point lead for Geelong. Time on second quarter.
Dangerfield, wonderful one-hander, just palmed away. Plowman with his right and took it in his left on the juggle. Kicks back inside defensive 50 to Stewart.
Do you prefer socks up, Paddy, or socks down, Paddy?
I think the socks up, he means business.
Yep. Okay. Stewart hugs the boundary line, and there might have been a hint of a hold. There was on Tui. Williams gives away the free kick. Tui at right half-back. Has Smith short. And still thinking about going to him after Smith had almost diverted his leading pattern. Goes down the line. No mark taken by Setterfield at ground level. Menengola, hand pass to Parfitt. Parfitt slips over. Just got the hand pass away. Cripps lightning hand pass to Setterfield. To Walsh. Back to Cripps, who hand passes inboard. Dow is about to be collected. He has the ball in his hands at the end of the second term. Geelong 3-4-22. Carlton 1-9-15. Short quarter. Didn't even run 25 minutes. The opening goal of that second term came in the second minute. We didn't have a major after that. The goal kickers for Geelong, Radigalia, Buse and Smith. Petrevski-Seaton were the only major for Carlton.
7-point lead for the Cats. They led by 2 at quarter time. They lead by 7 at the half. It's just the second time this year Carlton have had a goalless quarter. Usually a high-scoring team, but they also concede big numbers as well. We did put a watch on their defensive efforts coming in. They came in undermanned. Casbolt-Jones, a few late-outs for Carlton. And yet they've hung tough in that first half of footy. It's low scoring, but there's plenty in it. Geelong 3-4-22. Carlton 1-9-15. A 7-point lead for the Cats. No injury concerns. It's a cold night at the MCG after a clear day. No rain expected. The fog has set in and the floodlights have taken over. Corbin Middlemass, Andrew Mays, Jess Webster on the boundary, and the thoughts of our experts on Grandstand AFL, Brendan Goddard and Brett Delidio. At halftime, it's the Cats by 7.
Well, geez, Cats, if we had the stat, time in forward half would be through the roof for Geelong, I would have thought. So, did a really good job to lock it in their forward half. Got numerous return entries from pressure, ball coming out, getting it back in. But Carlton did have a number of guys behind the footy, which actually clogged up a lot of space. So a lot of those re-entries, Geelong didn't have enough time and space to find someone. But saying that, there was a number of times where they did have time and space and they just didn't use the ball well enough. So Geelong had a plethora of opportunities and just couldn't quite capitalise. It's like Carlton 1 goal 9 is not great going. They missed a couple rush there too, so a little bit misleading. But yeah, dominated by Geelong. They did really respond. It looked like they tried to get a little bit more speed into the game, Lids, but it was really built off the back end of defence and just locking in on the forward half.
Yeah, I felt like Geelong upped the ante a little bit at the start of that second quarter. They put them under the pump, the Blues, and they capitalised, kicked a couple of goals. They just weren't able to break. So it was, credit to Carlton. I think they were able to stem the flow and not allow Geelong to just keep having it their way. Albeit the Cats had a couple of shots, but the Blues did too. If they kick those goals, and they're right in this game, they're certainly not down by 7 points. But geez, when I come here before the game, I wasn't expecting a 7-point deficit, 22-15 at half time, Beach. That's for sure. But
you mentioned Carlton only had 6 inside 50s for the quarter, but out of those 6, there would have been maybe 2 or 3 of them where they had really good looks. We highlighted Eddie Betts having enough time and space. Then not only was 2 guys forward of him, but both doing the same thing. Yes. There wasn't enough teamwork, selflessness to one just to come up the footy.
But knowing that was the easy one, though.
Or probably knowing you're not going to get it. But the easy option was just keep running back to goal and hope that you find a mark. But both guys are doing the same thing. So the synergy, the communicate, or you don't really have time to communicate there, but you got to be better. And then Eddie had, I think it was Owies actually just kind of lateral to him. He had got it to him, he would have ran into an open goal. Yeah. So there's 2 opportunities, but Eddie, 1, finding Owies, but 2, Eddie's teammates have got to help him more because he didn't have any.
I've never played with Eddie. I don't know, you might have played international rules with him, but I would have thought that he's not kicking it too much further than 30 metres. So I'm hitting up at him every day of the week.
But not only that, I put it on the players ahead of him. It's not Eddie's fault because that's the only option.
That was it. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that as a person who's not even playing there, that was the obvious one to me. It's like, stop looking for the cheapie getting it out the back and do the hard yards and get the little one. You might not get that shot, but you still got the footy, get onto the next one.
And I think it was more because Geelong were up in front of them defending. Yes. But that's where the forward craft comes into it. So reading the play, they could have seen that Eddie was going to get that ball, hence why they were both running back towards goal. But forward craft, lead once, twice to open up that space, force the Geelong player then to come and stand beside you or behind you, and then you find yourself with the space to lead up to. But none of that happened. But anyway, that's been the Achilles heel of Carlton. So, 6 inside 50s, but 2 or 3 of them should have resulted in scores and had really good looks and shots on goal. So, to as good a job Geelong had done and dominated the play, Carlton still had enough opportunities that arguably could be in front of the game based on how good those inside 50s and how much time and space they had and should have capitalised on. So, but Geelong are dominating, so I think Carlton have done a really good job, as you made mention, to almost the floodgates kind of felt like they could have.
Are they dominating though? Would Chris Cott be really happy with where they're at? I don't feel
No, that's what I'm saying. So Carlton have done a good job so they keep themselves in the game because
exactly right.
They should be, based on
in front
forward half time, the amount of looks they did have going inside 50, they should be 4 or 5.
They're defending manfully at the moment, aren't they? But I suppose without Jezza Cameron down there, Radagalia's, he's not a out-and-out full forward, is he? He's a resting ruck.
Well, you may mention he looked dangerous. It looks like he's getting his hands up there and they're almost...
But, yeah, so do all ruckmen, don't they, down there sometimes. But Wiedering's doing a fantastic job on Hawkins. He's had a couple of sniffs, one's burst straight through off his chest just about. But, yeah, I think if it keeps going this way, 30 inside 50s to 15, the dam wall's going to break at some stage. But... you never know. Like, if they can start to capitalise, kick their goals, then absolutely it can flip like that.
I feel like all year we've talked about Carlton's defence, and it's been praised, I think, probably more this week than it has at any time during the year. They've conceded 100 points on 7 occasions. They defended one-on-one a lot. Have you been impressed with them defensively, or have you noticed anything different in the way that they've set up, particularly as a team defence, as opposed to what we saw from them before the bye?
Well, I think the fact that Geelong haven't been able to get any open players just by themselves. They're quicker to turn on, off turnover. They're not just standing there ball watching. They're turning their heads, being able to recognise where the dangerous player is, the dangerous space. So when have we seen Geelong go end to end yet? We haven't really, have we? And we know Geelong aren't essentially like that all the time, but they're dangerous enough and good enough with their foot skills to be able to do that. So, yep, absolutely, they've made a change and they're a lot better.
I think two things that stand out for mine is their halfbacks or all the defenders aren't getting too far ahead of the footy. So when they can't really influence, they're hoping they get on the end of it, or a chain of play where they find themselves where they are in space. They hope the ball comes to them, but they're forward of the play. So it looks like they're more conservative with their approach there when they do win the footy. It's not all out attack, try and get on the end of it the first time, then the second time, then the third time. And then secondly, just the decisions being made off the ball. So when the ball does leave your area, Carlton players now, it literally looks like they're highlighted, but it's conscious in their mind. Is like, where's my man?
Defence first.
Yeah. We can't influence it, like you said. It's not ball watching. It's not what's going on. It's where's my man, or they're making a decision. If it's not where's my man, it's let's at least spread from the contest. So then, therefore, once you're running, you can kind of change direction and actually cover ground really quickly, as opposed to ball watching and walking.
Yep.
So actually making conscious decisions when they can't actually influence, or the ball does leave the area. And it's mainly around team defence, not how can I get the ball, or where's the ball going to go next, or third, fourth string down the line, where can I get it? It's based off, where's my man and how can I set up.
It's one for the purists. It's low scoring, but it's interesting enough.
What does that mean? One for the purists. Just a contest? Just an arm wrestle?
Yeah. If you're bringing someone that's not an Aussie rules fan, you probably wouldn't go, look, sit down and watch this game and I'll try and bring you over to be an Aussie rules fan.
So you have to be a serious footy lover to enjoy this game. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely you do.
It's interesting enough that 7 points...
I don't even think they're enjoying... No. Well, it's tough.
I enjoy footy
it's not
too,
tough. It's dewy, but that's no... We've all played in dewy conditions. It doesn't play that. This ball skids a little bit. You can still clunk them.
It's not like playing in the NT where it's like a bar of soap.
Yeah, that's right. It's not that bad, but it's both teams are a little bit off, not taking opportunities.
Game still live?
Yeah, so hopefully it just...
It's all ahead of us. If it stays close, we'll stay on the edge of our seat. Correct.
Doesn't make it a good game, though.
No, exactly right.
Keep the cell 3-4 to 1-9. That's a 7-point lead for Geelong at half-time. Fremantle beat Hawthorn by 62 points in the earlier game. There's just 3 games today and none of them overlap, which is nice. So one to come. It's Brisbane and St Kilda tonight at Carrara on the Gold Coast. And if you are listening to ABC Radio throughout the night, perhaps you've got a long trip ahead of you. Stay safe on the roads. You will be hearing the Wimbledon final tonight. Ashley Barty and Carolina Pliskova to go at it. Our coverage starts from 10:30 Eastern tonight, so you can hear it right here on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Half-time at the G, Geelong by 7 points in a low-scoring affair. Let's see what's happening in the ABC newsroom.
ABC ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. New South Wales health authorities have issued a plea for people to be honest with contact tracers as the state records 50 new COVID infections. 10 further cases have been linked to a gathering at the Meriton Suites at Waterloo in Sydney last month, bringing that cluster to 35. Dr. Kerry Chant says it's imperative people are truthful to break chains of community transmission as quickly as possible.
At the moment, as we're trying to get ahead of the spread of the virus, we haven't got time to waste unpicking stories, going back and cross-checking and verifying. It is really essential. Tell us the first time.
New South Wales police have dished out fines to people caught holding house parties despite tightened COVID restrictions. Officers were called to a noise complaint in the Sydney suburb of Randwick and discovered 8 men having a gathering. They also shut down a similar incident on the Central Coast. Deputy Commissioner Gary Warboys says it's just not good enough.
Every single time that you make a poor decision, you put yourself at risk, your family at risk, and also the community. Over the next few days, police will continue their efforts right across this state to the farthest places where people think that they can escape Sydney and go on a holiday.
The federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese says the federal government's failure to manage vaccination rollout is to blame for Sydney's COVID situation. He's calling for more support for casual workers impacted by the tightened restrictions as the lockdown goes into a third week. Mr. Albanese says the extra financial assistance is desperately needed.
The fact is that it is casual workers, it's people who are losing their income, who are most likely to have no savings whatsoever, who are struggling as a result of this lockdown, and the Prime Minister's offering them no support.
Passengers on a Qantas flight to London have been told to self-isolate and get tested after a passenger tested positive to COVID-19. The person was on flight QF1542, which left Launceston in Tasmania on the 2nd of July and passed through Melbourne on its way to London. The passenger tested positive in the United Kingdom more than 72 hours after leaving Melbourne. Testing Commander Jerome Weimar says 61 people on that flight have been contacted out of an abundance of caution.
We think this is a vanishingly small chance of them having been positive in Tasmania. There's no evidence of exposure sites or transmission at Melbourne Airport. But again, out of an abundance of caution and, bluntly, because we have the headroom to do these things, we will chase up all these loose ends because we might as well.
Paralympics Australia has confirmed it's in talks to make returning athletes part of SA's proposed home isolation trial for returning international travellers who've been vaccinated. Gabriella Merchant has more.
Paralympics Australia says the federal government's considering whether around 400 athletes and staff returning from the Tokyo 2020 Olympics could participate in the trial. Given around 70 wheelchair users as well as people with a variety of medical and support requirements make up the contingent, it says the organisation's working closely with authorities to find the best solution to keep those returning and the community safe. SA Premier Stephen Marshall confirmed only those vaccinated in Australia could participate, and any plan would need to be approved by SA Health.
The Indonesian government says it will use doses of the Moderna vaccine donated by the US through the COVAX program to vaccinate doctors and nurses. Many healthcare workers have already received their first 2 Sinovac shots, but are still getting infected by the COVID-19 Delta strain. Daily coronavirus infections are above 38,000, with 1,000 deaths recorded each day. The 4 million doses of Moderna are scheduled to arrive in Jakarta tomorrow. Aftershocks have hit the region between Northern California and Nevada after a magnitude 6 earthquake sent large boulders rolling onto highways. The quake was centered south of Lake Tahoe and is felt as far off as Las Vegas and San Francisco. The California Highway Patrol says some cars were struck by rocks, but there were no injuries. An earthquake earlier this week has been followed by scores of aftershocks, including at least half a dozen of magnitude 4 or above. And Australia have thrown away the first 2020 international against the West Indies in the Caribbean, losing their last 6 wickets for just 19 runs, chasing 146 to win. Australia were in complete control when they brought up their 100 in the 10th over before capitulating in the run chase to lose by 18. You're up to date with ABC News.
In winter, echidnas are snuggled up in their little burrows. You can snuggle in too with Bluey on ABC iView.
Okay, ready? Ready. I'm so excited.
Or Doctor Who, or The Wonder Gang, or David Attenborough, or The Investigators.
It's always very exciting.
Don't be surprised by the selection of jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, snuggle-worthy family favourites.
Unexpected. I know. Wow.
Stream for free now on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases her first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight. ABC Sport on Social is your sports conversation on the go. Video, player insight and analysis. This is the content you never knew you needed. Get ABC Sport wherever you scroll.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
To Rowan, hand pass centrally to Smith. The out is finally passed, but he got tackled. Back to Smith, who kept on running. Isaac Smith snaps and goals. Wonderful work by the veteran. Henderson with the free kick. He'll wheel inside, then just kick to the hot spot to Cody. Oh, Rowan, what a mark! Wow. Rowan was up high. And Rowan has pulled down a rip in the forward pocket.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Just the one goal in that second quarter. It went the way of Izzy Smith, as you heard. 2 minutes in, a short term running just over 25 minutes. The fog has set in over the city of Melbourne. The floodlights well and truly required. It's twilight footy at the MCG. Geelong by 7 points over Carlton. They led by 2 at quarter time. They lead by 7 at the half. 3-4 to 1-9 in a low-scoring Dower affair. Corbin Middlemass and Andrew Mays calling the footy. Brett Delidio and Brendan Goddard. Jess Webster on the boundary. There was one game played earlier today down at York Park in Launceston. And for the first time, Fremantle sung the song post-game. A 62-point win over the Hawks. That's the first time at the venue. They've only won there once previously, and that was retrospectively awarded to them after the Siren Gate incident back in 2006, which Brendan Goddard, you were a part of. So Fremantle, I think in their 12th fixture at the venue, winning for just
what a
the
day that
time
was
today. Yeah. Do you remember that well?
I think it was 2 or 3 days after. It was a couple of days afterwards they finally made a decision.
Yeah.
Because we'd won and Bakes actually had 2 opportunities to kick the winning goal, did he? Missed both of them.
Yep. And then both of them
second chance. Couldn't kick over a jam tin, Bakes, so I was surprised he made the distance. But, it's a bit of a blur, but I was what year was that, sorry?
I think 2006.
6, yeah, so I was a few years in, but we used to play Fremantle down there, I think, regularly when we had the deal, the Saints and the great state of Tasmania. But they were the kind of bunnies we used to take down there, travel all the way from Perth.
Well, they're not happy about it too, the Dockers. They do more miles than anyone, and then they also end up in Darwin and end up down in Tassie and travelling all over the place. But they're 8-8. They're 7th on the table as it sits at the moment. There's obviously still a few games to take place this weekend which could knock them out. But 62-point winners over Hawthorn. Coming up tonight, it's Brisbane and St Kilda at Carrara. Now, there's a bit of other sport taking place. Obviously, tonight, Ashley Barty is in action. Starts at 10. Our coverage starts at 10:30 tonight. That's 10:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Barty, the number 1 seed, looking for her second slam title after winning the French Open in 2019, up against Karolina Pliskova, the 8th seed. She's looking to become just the second woman in the last 40 years to beat both the top 2 seeds en route to winning the title. So Pliskova trying to break through for the first time. You can hear every point on ABC Radio tonight and on ABC Sport Digital. The men's final will see Matteo Berrettini, the first Italian to make the Wimbledon final, up against Novak Djokovic tomorrow night. In racing today, Jamie Carr had her 100th winner, so race 2 at Caulfield. First Victorian jockey to get 100 wins in a season. So on Wednesday at Sandown, she had 8 races to try and reach the 100 milestone. Wasn't able to get there today. She rode her 100th city winner for the season, so a fantastic effort from Jamie Carr. And in the cricket, the Aussies well beaten by 19 runs in St Lucia. They were cruising trying to get 146 to win. They were 4 for 105 after 10 overs, then lost 6 for 19 7 for 38 to be all out for 127 in the 16th over. So a win for the West Indies in the first of 5 T20s. They play in back-to-back days, so they're up again tomorrow morning at what is now the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. So Darren Sammy has an oval named after him in the Caribbean. Game 2 between the Aussies and the West Indies tomorrow. The SNS throughout the night, 0437 774 774. Lids, you've had a challenge over Redan.
Okay.
Redan. Let me find it. You did comment.
Redan is a golf template hole.
Here we go.
The footy's about to start, mate. No one really worries that much about it.
No, he does.
Yeah, Pete in Ballarat is
Old
not happy
Pete
with it
Ballarat.
being referred to as a small country town. It's a suburb of Ballarat.
Yeah, righto.
So shout out to everyone in Redan. Second half action underway. Here's Andrew Mays. Cats by 7.
Stanley wins it down. Dangerfield tries to get away from the stoppage, but it's coming back to De Koning, who's been awarded the free kick. Gives it to the running Sard. Holmes almost ran him down. Sard kicks inside 50. High leapers at the back, and there's going to be a free kick. Henry was one of those high leapers, and the umpire saying he nudged Harry Mackay in the back.
It was a good dash by Adam Sard. Got moving off the free kick from the centre bounce. Nice handball receive. Get it in there. Put him under the pump early. Wants to see Big Harry going for the conventional version of the set shot right here.
Yeah, slight angle to the left. 30 out from goal. In he comes, Mackay. Shocking kick. He'll be lucky to score. It sneaks in for one behind Carlton's 10th of the evening. 3-4-22. The margin 6 points in favour of the Cats. Shocking kick.
He's had 81 shots for the season at 57%. Harry Mackay leading into the game. That unfortunately in the 43% of that pie as the ball heads out to half-back. Guthrie, hand pass out towards close. Sends it to half-forward. The Cats a nice transition. Finds Stanley. Marks in that launch pad. 70 out half-forward. Kicks into an open forward 50. Stocker went early. It carries all of them. Runs through to the behind line and eventually rolls over in front of the chasing pack. A minor score. He put that down to the boot of Reece Stanley from 70 out of behind. Carlton a 1-10-16. Geelong a 3-5-23. Cats by 7. 90 seconds into the third.
Piercing kick by Williams straight up the middle. Found Walsh. Hand pass to Sard. Hand pass to Fogarty. They're over halfway already. Now Silvani inside 50. Short kick is a good one. Owies takes the mark. He'll have to kick this from 50.
Oh, how hard was that, Maisie? That was perfect. It's just what Beej and I have been calling for. Obviously, they switched on to ABC radio at half time, as one of my old coaches used to do. But
so he's got the earpiece in.
He must have. Perfect kick. Jack Silvani.
And no coincidence too. Give it to a good ball user. Anyone else? He hadn't led yet. Had his back to him, almost like a little point. Just put it to the space.
Owies from 50. This looks straighter. Does it have the carry? No. Another behind for the Blues. 1-11-17. The Cats 3-5-23, 2 played third term.
The Daggers were 1-2 as well when Petrevski-Seton kicked their goal, so that's sort of 9 consecutive behinds for Carlton. As the kick out finds Izzy Smith out to half back to Atkins. And a rebound out of the defensive 50, and now Atkins plays on. Long kick down the southern boundary line. Radaglia and Plowman slips past them both. Hawkins collects on the bounce, looks back inboard. Dangerfield marks in the centre square, turns and plays on inside the forward 50, drifting forward. Henderson trying to take a juggled mark. He's locked up by Owies. Owies tackles him to ground with the footy. Umpire says holding the ball against Henderson. Advantage applied, and Nunes hand pass to Newman at half back.
There it is again. Not sure Newman wanted the advantage either. He didn't have much forward of the ball. Petrevski-Seton the only man free, and he finds him. Right half back. He doesn't have much movement forward either. He's just going to go to the wing. Pulls the kick at the last moment. Good decision too. And he finds Curnow.
Poor Jack Nunes. He plays at a club with 8 Jacks and then he moves and now he's got a Newman as well as a Nunes.
Here comes Curnow. Kick to right half forward. Kennedy to drift across the front and he takes the mark. Kennedy looking inside 50. Mackay has a couple matched up on him. He goes to the top of the square. Where are the leapers from the back? Should be a free kick. It is against Owies. Ground level Blues had a few troops too. And the free kick coming all the way back to the top of the square. Rowan in unfamiliar territory.
John in Bentley off the SMS says, it reminds me of the St Kilda Geelong game. The Saints had all these opportunities, didn't take them. And of course Geelong finishing over the top to win that game. Long ball out towards the outer wing from the Cats, but again, Carlton win it at the drop. Stocker, hand pass to Fogarty, kicks inside 50. Always the sprawling mark against the boundary line, 40 from home, left half forward.
Well, he's doing it all at both ends, always at the moment, isn't he? He's been involved in everything. He has a shot on goal, the first bit of play, and then he stops Henderson from kicking one. Now he's got a second chance.
I feel like everyone in the game has a basketball background, but this guy genuinely has a basketball background. Went to the University of Hawaii. Usually we think of basketballers in the game as sort of big guys that have crossed over, but former guard, small forward, Matt Owes with the yellow boots as he steps inside the boundary line, shoots from 45 metres out. Sharp angle, he hits the post. They cannot get one through the major opening the Blues. They've kicked 10 consecutive behinds. They're 1-12. Geelong are 3-5. Cats lead cut to 5 points. 5 played third term.
Stewart with the kick in, hangs in the air. Cripps floats across the front. Henry took a great mark. Wasn't sure he'd been paid the mark, so played on. Kicked the ball 4 metres to Higgins, who's forced to kick quickly up towards the wing. Rowan with the fly. Sard punches it away from him. Henderson front and centre, gets his hands free. Smith had a fumble. Nunes hand pass. He was looking for Sard. It spits out the side to Smith. Lovely hands by Close to Higgins. To Dangerfield on his left. Wide, good kick. Finds Hawkins' chest. 70 from goal.
The Tomahawk rolls around and then goes long to Ratagalia. One-on-one with Plowman. Sad bounces straight off his chest. Slipped through his hands, off his sternum and into the lap of Stocker. Hand pass back to Wiedering. Clearing kick out of the defensive arc. Hawkins, he was held. The drop of the footy. Newman giving away the free. Hawkins to take it 65 out. He's headed back into a crowded forward 50. Lays it up at the top of the goal square. Blitz halves. Knocks it down to Close. Hand pass to Parfitt. And he walks it in. Right in front of the goal umpire. Bangs it through. And the game has finally got its 5th goal. It's gone the way of the Cats. 4-5 to 1-12. 6 minutes into the third term. The Cats lead back out to 11 points. It's the first goal since the 2-minute mark of the second quarter on Grandstand AFL. Brendan Goddard and Brett Delidio, the Cats by 11.
Yeah, a bit deflating, wouldn't it? I think we saw that from the body language from the Carlton players just then. They've done a lot of good stuff started this quarter for 6 minutes and just always having an opportunity only a couple of minutes ago, but the ball spending a bit of time in Carlton's forward half and just couldn't capitalise. So a rare kind of back-to-back forward 50 entry for Geelong, and they make the most out of it again. Ratagalia looking really dangerous slightly earlier. went straight through his hands and hit Plowman straight in the forehead. Yeah, good bit of play, and it was really good from Parfitt actually. He came from a long way back then as a small forward, playing his role, got to the contest and was rewarded in the goal square.
Parfitt with the free kick here in the middle too. Kennedy got into his back. He runs around the centre circle, then long inside 50. Rowan got a free run and it takes the mark at the front of the pack. 30 out directly in front. Chance for 2 in a minute.
I'm not going to be critical of Stock. I thought he's been okay today defensively. He's been all right. But he just lost him, lost Gary Rowan there. That's one thing that Gary can do. You give him 2 or 3 metres. We know how quick and powerful he can be. Just floats across the front. Really capitalising on playing on a guy that's probably not as strong in the air.
Couldn't finish his work from his spectacular mark in the second quarter. How is he? With a regulation mark in the third. He finishes beautifully. And the Cats open up a 17-point lead. 8 minutes ticked over in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, that's why he's such a hard matchup for someone like Stock. He generally plays on small forwards that stay on the ground there and at ground level. So he thought he was out of the play, but his abilities to run, and I'm sure he knows his opponent too, but it's just not instinctive for Stocker too to think that his opponent's going to do that because he's used to staying on the ground. So he tried to get a little bit of body work, but again, it just has to be
aggressive enough.
Yeah, it just has to be a little bit earlier too, because then he managed to find just that half a yard of space, and he timed it to perfection. So just get in a little bit earlier for Stocker and just knock him just to get his timing off a little bit, but. It's rare that the other 3 forwards all got held and no one really went at it. So just a bit more body work, but that's why it's such a hard matchup.
17 points, as wide as it's been. 2 quick ones for the Cats after we went almost or more than a quarter without a goal. Back in the middle, DeConey wins it down. Curnow pushed as he kicked. Walsh comes in off the square. High ball to centre half forward. No one there for the Blues. Kolajasny, hand pass to Guthrie under pressure. Gives it to Menegola. Slips past him. Bet steals it. Shoots goalward across the body. Doesn't have the trip. From 40 out, and it's marked on the behind line. Henderson chops it off in his 200th game. Right on the behind line, City end of the ground. The goal the Cats are defending. Out to Kolajasny. Got hands to it. Slips straight through those. Is Setterfield. A rare possession for him. The hand pass ends up back with Menegola. Up against the boundary line. Just kicks in Hope down the wing. Rowan arriving late. Great closing speed. Takes the mark on his chest. Defensive side of the wing.
Kicks inboard. Finds Higgins. Higgins switches on. He goes back inside defensive 50. Finds Henderson, who has Stewart running across half-back, who takes the mark. He's now at right half-back. Darts back inboard. Risky kick. Menegola takes the mark. He goes short on the half volley to Higgins. Lovely pick up. Back to Menegola, who had to provide some support. Then stabs a nice pass. Hawkins spins, kicks straight away. Henry's got a couple of metres on everyone. He left it for his mate over the back close. And close marks in the forward pocket, right next to the boundary line.
There's a difference too in say, key forwards or the forwards Geelong. Hawkins realised instead of running back and just asking for the ball long, he had a bit of space in front of him, but just a little duck back lead really late was the best option there. It was really the only option in the end.
To make it 5 goals in a row for the Cats, he kicks near side, one behind, 5-6-36. Geelong, 1-12-18, the Blues, 10 played third quarter.
It was good to see then Tomahawk then get off the mark and roll really quickly and didn't allow Carlton's defenders and the numbers to get back and clog up their forward 50.
Feels like the Blues just at breaking point here. Big stage in the game as Silvani on a run. Kicks down the wing. Spills off hands to Paddy Dow. Hand pass away to Mackay. High bomb inside the forward 50. They'd love another one of him down there. Oh, he spills the mark. Follows up. Takes on two. He shoots goalward. Misses everything.
Oh, he's the most dangerous Carlton forward at the minute. Just doing everything. A good marking contest. Ball floated in, but just brought it to ground, which is his strength.
It's 18 points, but Carlton have only kicked one in the game. It came 10 minutes into the contest. We're now 11 minutes into the third. Geelong by 18.
Stewart.
That won't go down on the scoreboard, but that was another good scoring opportunity. So they arguably had kicked 11 behinds in a row.
Geez, it looked out of bounds on the full from here. It's going to be tossed in. Just a tap before it travelled over on the full. Ball to be thrown in. Left half forward for Carlton. Silvani in the ruck. Blitzars just knocks it to space. Walsh will lead the race back for this one on the wing. Has a fumble. Has a couple of fumbles. Then a short hand pass to Petrevski-Seton. He's got one arm trap. Parfitt comes in over the top. Oh, I thought the umpire was going to be holding the ball there. He just crouched and then said, I'll have it. Metre inside from the boundary line on the wing. Oh, he's paid the free kick.
Now a free kick to go to Petrevski-Seton.
Where'd that come from?
Maybe the non-controlling umpire. Here we go. Umpire Jamie Broadbent, who's controlling the forward third of the ground, or the forward end in which Geelong are attacking, came in to pay the free. So Petrevski-Seton to Silvani. Shakes the ball back in the middle of the ground. Tough one to Mark Williamson. Mops it up. Takes a nice contested mark. Kicks it straight down the pipe. Mackay the target. Can't take the mark. Spills down underneath Fogarty. Holmes wraps him up. He's in trouble, Fogarty. Holding the ball. Free kick Geelong. It's centre half back. And Holmes and Buse in the two-man tackle. Buse going to pull rank. A senior defender, and he'll take the kick for Geelong. He kicks it to Holmes, the teenager in the middle of the ground. Plays on, loose hand pass at Menegola. Petrevski-Seton got him straight away. Back to Holmes. Surge kick inside the forward 50. Williamson reaching over the back, takes it and then runs straight away from close. Hand pass to Sard. Dangerous hand pass back inboard to Silvani, who tumbles a kick forward.
Slams it on his boot and found Fogarty on the bounce. He's tackled immediately. Caught holding the ball, second time in a minute. Good tackle by Buse. Rinse and repeat. Kicks inboard. Smith and Stewart almost argue over it. Smith left it for Stewart. Kick inside 52. Lovely bodywork. Did everything but take the mark. Spilt to Hawkins. Breaks one tackle. Left forward pocket. Darts a ball inside. Plowman trapped it. Setterfield goes in. He tries to get rid of the ball. Had his head down. Umpire said, I'll have it. Ball up inside, attacking 50 for the Cats. They lead this one by 3 straight goals.
They've kicked the only 2 of the quarter. Carlton's last and only came 10 minutes into the game. From the restart, Cripps hand pass away to Walsh, kicks from the back pocket up with a wing. Mackay wanted a free, won't get it, slips away to Betts, grabs the footy, short kick away to Mackay, sweeps a hand pass over to Owies. Carlton up into the front half, short kick back on the 45 to Silvani, unguarded goal square. Silvani kicks outside of the right boot, high bomb to the goal square, needs a kind bounce, he won't get it. Oh, sits up and 2 Cats collide. Gee, Menegola just bouncing off Colin Jasney. The ball bobbled up right on the behind line. They banged bodies and both a little sore to make their way back up. There was no Carlton player in sight. And 2 Cats ran straight into each other. A rush behind. Another one in the book for Carlton. They're 1-13. Geelong are 5-6 midway through the third.
That was bizarre. Rowan, the outletting mark, and he takes it just shy of the wing. Kicks back inboard. Hot footy for Tui. He held it nicely in these dewy conditions. Tui to Henderson. A couple of the ex-Blues linking up. Not for the first time this evening. Henderson inside forward 50. Cripps was the spoiler away from Dangerfield. Myers, good kick to Rowan, who's kept on running. He gets to 50. Thought about playing on, opted against it. He's probably got the trip here if he goes back to take his shot, Rowan. Now the mark is being set 52 from goal.
It's a fake if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Top of the square, mate, I was going to say even Hawkins in that pocket they generally go to try and isolate him, but Silvani's done a good job to get back.
So Gary Rowan, he gets to 55. Don't know if that was a shot or not. It's a very high kick to the top of the square. Williamson, the spoil, out of bounds next to the right behind post. Was that a shot, PJ?
I think he gave it everything he had, but for mine play, the percentage is you got to know you can't make the distance there or go back and try and kick a torp. So worst case scenario, it probably falls 20 metres short anyway.
They don't travel as far on the cold beach.
No, that's right. And just set it to the top of the square and give your forwards the best chance.
Hawkins grabs it out of the ruck, shakes a tackler, shoots goalward, kicks it out on the full. Tom Hawkins without one tonight. The Wiedering matchup. It was held goalless when the pair met back in 2019. Kicked 2 last time they met. The 5 individual goal kickers for the Cats, 5-6 to 1-13. That's right, Carlton 1-13. Their last 11 scoring shots, all behinds. 17 played in the third term. The Blues, long kick out towards half-back. Fogarty becomes the tackler on Atkins and a ball up. 70 out from the Geelong goal. How do you read it, Lids?
It's a bit like every other quarter that we've watched so far, isn't it? Geelong look like they're the team that's getting on top, and then it's just a bit of a stalemate.
Meningol with a clearance, kicks inside 50, Wiedering with the spoils, Sard at ground level, sockets it to his own advantage. Holmes is there, and coming over the top was Sard. Now the umpire circles, holding the ball. Sard will receive the free kick. Fair bit of pace in that contest. Sard inside defensive 50 for the Blues. Kick to Walsh. Walsh, quick hand pass to Nunes, who has Geelong players inside 50, so he just has to pause, works a triangle of hand passes, and then comes out wide to Martin, who marks it on centre wing.
Shout out to Kevin in Myrtleford. Great call, boys. Pity Carlton's goal kicking is off. Otherwise, they'd be taking it right up to the Cats tonight as Martin goes short to Walsh.
Be cold in Myrtleford.
Absolutely. Home of the mighty Saints. 22nd possession coming up for Sam Walsh as he just bangs it long down the line. In from the side, Henry whacks it over the boundary line and a throw in half forward for the Blues.
What do you do with Jack Martin, you reckon, Beach? You get him up and around the nut. He seems to be a bit wasted down there. Looks like they've already made that move, got him up and around it. Get a bit more use out of his leg, find the footy a bit more.
From the throw in, Blitzarps palms it down. Nunes dives forward as he's being tackled. No free kick. New pack forms about 5 metres away. Dangerfield on top of it. It comes out the back door. Guthrie's hand pass straight to the boundary line. Petrovski-Seton wants to keep it alive. Comes back to Smith. It's tackled over the boundary line. A throw in, 60 out from the Carlton goal.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's up. He's played on the wing a little bit before as well, and I think even 2 years ago played a bit more on ball and had a bit more of an impact. But I don't think he can spend a hell of a lot of time there. I don't think his engine's good enough, but at least just give him a chance to have more opportunities to get his hands on the ball, because we know when he does touch it, that generally good things happen.
From the stoppage, the Blues, couple of tackles, including Betts, this time on O'Connor. Force a stoppage, right on attacking 50.
But they are searching, so it's Jack Martin and Petretsky-Seaton, right? They're struggling to really nail down a position and grab anything with both hands.
Henry, from the stoppage, kicks a spiral out of defence. Williamson looked like he had his jumper held. Higgins might have had his head ripped off. Umpire said play on. Williamson tries to kick with his right boot, kicked it a metre, and then out of mid-air, Nunes slices it out of bounds on the full.
An old coach of mine always used to say, if you got any chance to grab the footy, grab it and treat it like goal. And a number of guys then just didn't want to touch it as if it was boiling metal or something stupid. But Jack Nunes just grabbed the ball, mate, and played the percentages.
Higgins with the free kick. Nice usage too. 40-metre pass finds Stanley, who goes quickly. High kick inside 50, right to the hot spot where are the leapers. Plowman homes out the back, will dribble. He's missed. Should have kicked that. 10 metres out. Slight angle to the left. Went the dribbler in wet conditions and it slid across the face.
The question is, Beach, did you and Jack Nunes share that same coach?
Yes.
18 points, the Cats lead.
Someone was listening, someone wasn't.
5-7 to 1-3. Time on in the third term. Goes straight down the middle with Williams. It got its way to Cripps. He dropped it in the end. A hand pass to Fogarty under pressure. His hand pass, a turnover. Myers at centre half forward for the Cats. Gives it to Smith. Hand pass back into dispute. Dangerfield put his head over it but made contact high on Newman. And Nick Newman to take the free centre half back. Cuts out wide. Blitzar's back with the flight. Does well to Spoiled. Blues with the numbers at the drop. Nunes dangerous hand pass. Got it to Silvani. Hand pass to Cripps. Back to Jack Silvani. Short kick out wide to Curnow. And the ball slips out of play. It's been that kind of night. He was lying face down on the grass trying to tap it back into the field of play and it ran away from him and out of bounds. And a neutral ball boundary throw-in situation right on the wing beneath us. Cats by 18 points. Time on third term.
De Koning wins it down. Higgins at ground level, hand pass to Guthrie, who tries to find a bit of space. Atkins, hand pass back to Myers, who forces on the boot quickly. Stocker had a fumble. Great hand pass by Dangerfield to Isaac Smith. Interesting, the right foot disposal there. Gets back on his left as he links up for the 1-2. That's better. Kicks inside 50 and Higgins takes the mark on his chest. 45 from goal.
Well, I think Isaac Smith just showing us there that right leg is for balance only.
We all know that with all left footers, don't we? Don't name a left footer that's got I'll leave this on you. Name a left footer, natural left footer that's got a good right leg.
Oh, I remember one that I did have, and Nathan Brown was pretty handy on his right.
Yeah. But I'm going to be critical of Jack Nunes then. He was too busy ball watching then, direct opponent being Higgins, allowed in goal side, and then didn't put in the hard yards to then make up that ground and get goal side and at least be close enough to spoil that ball.
Plenty of behinds tonight. Higgins, can he hit one nicely? He does! Brings it back and kicks the sixth for the Cats. 6-7-43. Carlton 1-13-19. 22 minutes played, third term on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, I saw it from a mile away. So ball hit the ground again. It's not an inability to run because Jack Nunes is a great runner, and I'm talking top five. There you go. You can see it on the replay. So top five at the Saints at the time. I'm tipping he's around the mark at Carlton. He's got to be better there. So you can see his head. He's like he knows his opponent's there, but he's too busy ball watching.
Yes.
Turn your head, mate, and go hard. Make up the difference. Focus on defence, and there's a little bit of hope there, I think, that maybe we win it. No, I'm turning around and I've got 5 metres on my direct opponent. But little did he know, Brian Myers was in behind him, so even if they'd won it and turned around, he wasn't getting anywhere.
You need to be the Amazonian dolphin.
Yeah, yes. The old head on the swivel.
Absolutely.
Turn your head at 90 degrees.
24 points, the Cats lead a new game high. Carlton's only goal came 10 minutes into the game. The Cats running away with it in the third. Parfitt in the middle, just got his kick away as he was tackled. Slips to Dow. Dow gets the centre break. Hurried kick forward. Silvani out to meet it, can't control it. Spills to Stanley. Silvani just bowls him out of the way. De Koning picks up the loose footy. Centre half forward for Carlton. Betts hands it to Martin, who went without it. The greasy footy slipped straight past him. Atkins by hand to Smith, to Kolajasny, shakes the kick, Betts back onto it, tackled front on by Atkins, Betts held to him, and a ball up, 70 out from the Carlton goal. Their last 11 scoring shots, the Blues have all been behinds. And across 3 quarters, Geelong have kicked the last 5 in the game.
Walsh shucks the tap, hand pass to Petrovski-Seton, who was in congestion, hand pass to Martin, this time cleaner, turns, kicks, Mackay takes the mark on his chest. 48 from goal. Too far out, you'd think, for the snap, so I fear this would be the conventional one.
Free hit for him from out here,
I was just about to say he'll kick this because he's not expected to, and everyone's he might not make the distance easy, I think, but, well, it is cold, doesn't go as far as we know, but...
still comfortable for the big fella from here, I reckon.
10-minute mark of the opening term was the last Carlton goal. Mackay from 50 kicks. It's coming back. Does it have the journey? Yes! Finally, they have their second. 2 goals, 13-25 the Blues. 6-7-43 the Cats. 24 gone third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
It's mind-boggling because people ask, well, why can't he do that when he's close to the goal? It's just because it's all mental, because back there it's more instinct. It's a natural kick. You see the little bit of arc.
Yep. Kicks through it.
And people will say running a straight line, kicking a straight line. That's BS. It's not natural. Your biomechanics and your hips, that you don't work that way. So naturally when he's outside that range, and it's well within his range, but he's arguably just kicked it 90%. But it's a natural little arc, and he's not thinking about routine. He's not going, I need to take 15 steps back and run in this, thinking. It's all natural. It's all instinct.
Watch Buddy when he kicks from 30 to 40. He boots it nearly to the second tier. He does that natural kick.
But it's his natural little arc, and it looks natural. It's not structured. It's
fluent.
Yeah, it's fluent, but he needs to take a lot out of that. Go back and watch that a number of times.
He's up to 47 for the season. It's more than any Carlton player's kicked in over a decade, and we've still got 6 games to go after this. Back in the middle, Cripps first possession. His hand pass, though, ends up with Buse. Gives it to Guthrie. Hand pass cut out. Wanted to feed Menegola. Atkins got a hand on it and turns it over. Petrovski-Seton for Carlton. Hand pass to the southern wing for Walsh. He dishes off to Silvani. Some fancy footwork around Henry. Kicks inside 50. Mackay the target. Touched on the way through. Hand pass got to Dow. In the pocket to Walsh. Slick hand pass away to Curnow. His kick smothered. Ricochets out of bounds. Great work, Lockie Henderson. Forces it out of play, and a throw in forward pocket for Carlton. There's close to 40,000 in. They're desperate to get behind the Blues. Just 2 goals to cheer in so far. It's Geelong 6-7, Carlton 2-13, an 18-point lead for Geelong late in the third.
Toss back into play in the forward pocket. Henry down to Guthrie, who kicks quickly out of the danger zone. Close, does well to see it over for a boundary throw-in. 70 around from the Blues goal. Amazing, over 2 quarters between their first and second goal, the Blues, but they're not out of this. 18 points the margin. Toss back into play. Stanley to Koenig, knocks it to the space. Atkins just kicks it out of mid-air. Well done by Stocker to work his body nicely. Cleared the path for Newman. Wiedering, sweeping hand pass. Back to true centre half back. Plowman gets it. Risky kick. Kennedy just had to keep the ball in front of him. He did. To Setterfield. Setterfield lying on top of it now. Pressure from Guthrie. He locks it up right on the AFL logo on centre wing.
Really shows when the play's clean, doesn't it? And you get one opportunity to grab it clean and get it going. You fumble, you miss out.
Brett Delidio on Grandstand AFL alongside Brendan Goddard. An 18-point lead for the Cats. Back in the middle of the ground. We're going to do it all again. Another ball up. Jess Webster's on the boundary. Jess, the fog set in. How are things downstairs?
It has. There's a little bit hazy out there, and the dew, it's resting on top of the interchange benches. Actually looks like it's rained. It's that kind of wet out there. Very, very slippery underfoot. That temperature's dropped to about 10 degrees, so it is pretty chilly, and many more players on the bench are putting on jackets when they come off for their rotations. It's very fresh down here.
Paints a nice picture for us if you're listening along as Carlton get a free kick. Nunes under pressure, tackled. Cripps gives away a free. His hand pass trying to run it down and just becomes a high tackler on Parfitt. So free kick for Geelong at half back. Cats by 18 points late in the third.
Parfitt has Atkins out wide if he wants to go in that direction. Ignores it. He goes to Dangerfield. Matched up one-on-one. This time against Silvani. The ball got over the back of that contest. Smith happy to see it out for a boundary throw-in on true centre wing. Right in front of the interchange benches. Not long left in this third quarter. Signs going up everywhere, and the amount of seconds that be yelled out, there's only 4 left. Ball to be thrown back in. De Koning and Stanley. De Koning down close, missed it, and that is it. A bit of a stalemate here, although Geelong making a bit of a move in that third term. 3 goals to 1. 6-7-43 the Cats. 2 goals, 13-25 the Blues. That quarter running 29 minutes. The goal kickers for the Cats: Radaglia, Buse, Smith, Parfitt, Rowan and Higgins. Mackay kicked that goal in the third term for Carlton to add to Petreski Seaton's in the first.
They kicked 11 consecutive behinds at one stage, Carlton, across 3 quarters, while the Cats banked through 5 in a row at the other end. And Harry Mackay finally breaking that run with the last goal of the term. So Geelong by 2 points at quarter time, 7 at the half, and now by 18 at three-quarter time. Meanwhile, down in Launceston earlier today, the Dockers by 62 points. So Fremantle 7th on the premiership table as it sits at the moment, with a few results still to fall this weekend. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, three-quarter time at the G, Cats by 18. This is Grandstand AFL.
What do you think makes someone an Australian of the Year?
It's people who show courage, sacrifice and kindness.
Now's the time to reflect.
On your community.
And who you admire.
Now's the time to respect.
By nominating and acknowledging them.
Now's the time to celebrate.
Their story, their contribution and their generosity.
I'm Hamish McDonald, and I'd love you to nominate an inspirational Australian who you think is worthy at australianoftheyear.org.au.
ABC Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases her first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Matt Owies with the yellow boots as he steps inside the boundary line, shoots from 45 metres out. Sharp angle, he hits the post. They cannot get one through the major opening the Blues. They've kicked 10 consecutive behinds. They're 1-12. Geelong are 3-5. Hawkins to take it 65 out. He's headed back into a crowded forward 50. Lays it up to the top of the goal square. Blitz halves. Knocks it down to close. Hand pass to Parfitt. And he walks it in. Right in front of the goal umpire. Bangs it through.
Parfitt with the free kick. He runs around the centre circle. Then long inside 50. Rowan got a free run at it. Takes the mark at the front of the pack. 30 out directly in front. Couldn't finish his work from his spectacular mark in the second quarter. How is he? With a regulation mark in the third. He finishes beautifully. And the Cats open up a 17-point lead. Plenty of behinds tonight. Higgins, can he hit one nicely? He does! Brings it back and kicks the sixth for the Cats. Mackay from 50 kicks. It's coming back. Does it have the journey? Yes! Finally, they have their second.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Sounds there of the third quarter. 4 goals to half-time, 4 in the third term, but 3 of them Geelong's way. And as a result, Catters by 18 points. Three-quarter time at the G. There's a game to come tonight up at Carrara on the Gold Coast. The Brisbane Lions hosting the Saints. Quentin Hull heading up the call. Q.
G'day, Corby. A bit unique that we are down here at Carrara, but such is the state of the world and the COVID restrictions between Brisbane and Victoria. Although they have eased in the last 36 hours, not enough time to ensure that Dane Zorko plays his 200th game at his somewhat adopted home at the Gabba, because here he is on the Gold Coast where he was brought up through the Surfers Paradise Demons at the Broadbeach Cats, where he won a number of best and fairest before he finally got his chance in the AFL system up the road at the Lions, having been disregarded by the Sun. So he'll play his 200th game tonight in a night where Lachie Neale, the Brownlow medalist, returns from a calf injury. St Kilda has the big in of Zach Jones coming back for his first game since round 8. He's been struggling with a quad injury. It's a gorgeous night for football here. 16 degrees. It'll get down to about 13 during the evening. So splendid conditions for a game between the pretty consistent Lions, who have bounced back well from that loss to the Demons a month or so ago, and off the bye they've had 3 wins over North Melbourne, Geelong and Adelaide. And what do we get from the Saints tonight? Well, they need to produce some of their good stuff to stay relevant in the race for the 8. Should have beaten Sydney, should have beaten Adelaide before the bye, and have beaten Richmond and Collingwood since. So the Lions trying to keep their pursuit for a top 2 place going, while the Saints just trying to keep in the fight for September.
Thanks, Holly. Look forward to the call next on Grandstand AFL, the Lions and the Saints. Did I mention tonight from 10:30 Eastern, our coverage starts on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital across the country. Ash Barty trying to become the first woman in 41 years since Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley to win the Wimbledon title. She plays Carolina Pliskova tonight. You can hear it all here every point on ABC Radio.
Some images coming through of Ash Barty warming up. She's got the footy out. At Wimbledon on the courts.
That's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
Kick on the grass at
Richmond
the All England Club.
Yeah, she is. I met her years
Your
ago.
favourite?
Yes.
You were a favourite player?
I was, yeah, but I think Koch has taken that mantle now. I made the mistake of leaving and didn't ride the coattails.
She gave him the cup, obviously, last year, didn't she? She presented the trophy on grand final night. Quick thoughts before we start the final term. Cats by 18 points. Brennan Goddard, Brett Delidio.
Well, Carlton's still in it, funny enough.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? So 15 scoring shots to 13. They had a kick straight. They're well and truly in it, as we've spoken about all night, which is, been a bit boring probably for most of the people listening out there, how much we've spoken about it. But get off to a good start.
18 points and a bit more efficiency, and they give themselves a good chance. But Geelong have got the control of the game, but they just need to improve their efficiency going forward.
Thick fog at the MCG. Final term underway in a low-scoring affair. Cats by 18 points. And Cripps is locked up straight away. Cripps with 17 tonight. He's kicked the ball only 4 times, though, carrying that foot injury in. And O'Connor just following him at the stoppages as he has done most of the night. Dangerfield, first possession from the secondary ball up. Kicks it forward, but straight to Plowman. Hand pass to Sard. Comes wide for the Blues. Out to Nunes on the wing. Atkins does well to spoil. Wins the footy. Fogarty locks him up. Takes him over the boundary line and a throw in front of the Cats bench. The Medi subs, neither of them used so far. Matt Cottrell for Carlton. Quentin Narkle for the Geelong. So no injury concerns after a couple of late changes. Casbolt and Jones out before the teams were named.
Narkle in tracksuit tops and bottoms at 3/4 time warming up. He had to keep warm on that bench tonight. From the stoppage, Plowman, Sockers, only as far as O'Connor on the wing. Gets out of one tackle, or did he? Ball ricochets to the favour of Fogarty, who slams it on his boot. Ball bounces on its point inside 50 for the Blues, but Stewart's the first there for the Cats. Kicks around the boundary line. Dangerfield took it in one hand, kept on going, thought about taking on Nunes and got absolutely smashed too as he got his hand pass away to Atkins. Over the top to Close, now to Higgins. Entrance inside 50. They've got a couple of outnumbers here. One of them is Tui, who takes it on his chest. 20 out, directly in front.
See, for mine, that's a forward line that knew what one another was going to do. They knew what they were doing individually, how to create space. Hawkins came back at the ball. I think it was Rowan that was going to lead up but saw Hawkins, but that's the only reason then Tui has Zach. He's trying to spit out his first name and his last, but Tui had so much space and no one else was able to affect the ball in the air and come in third man. Is because the 2 other players were in line with the ball, kept dangerous, and they both worked together.
100 games for the Cats, 100 games for the Blues, and he kicks the first of the final term and makes the job very difficult for Carlton. 4 straight goals the margin to play.
Must be sweet when all night he's just had
the booze.
The booze.
Kick one late night. There would be nothing better. I was never able to do that. But what I liked about the forwards, and you just spoke about it, is their ability to readjust and reset to get themselves into that double threat position. A position we used to talk about at Richmond.
Double threat, is it?
Yeah, where you could you can either come forward or you can go back. So you've got both options. You watch Hawkins doing his work, going back towards goal, then cuts up, but then it creates a huge, big one-on-one opportunity for Zach Tui. We know he's been around for a long time now. Sam Walsh, not his strong suit in the back pocket, I wouldn't have thought. But good way to actually cover Tui, but just wasn't able to get the spoil on.
Equal game high, back to 24 points Geelong's way. 3 minutes into the final term. Radaglia knocks it down to Dangerfield as he's been tackled by Dow. Hands it back to Radaglia. Gets the centre break. Kicks to half forward. And Saad takes the intercept mark, plays on. So trying to go at all cost here, Carlton. The 1-2 with Curnow. Saad then inboard to Williams. Kicks straight down the pipe. Fogarty in his opposite number, Colin Jasney. Skids in to take the mark. Umpire says not paid. Fogarty forces it free, but Geelong onto it. Tui by hand away to Henry. A little slow. Betts runs him down. Eddie Betts with the chase down tackle. Kennedy takes the advantage and misses. A story of the night for the Blues. Eddie Betts with the superb job defensively. The run-down tackle on Henry. And Matt Kennedy couldn't finish on the run from 35 out. Another behind. Carlton at 2-14. Geelong 7-7. 4 minutes into the last.
Henderson, long kick to Coning. On the way down, takes a good double grabber. Hand pass to Newman. Newman kicks inside, 52 wide. Should have been out on the full, it was. Now, it should be 52 because Harry Mackay has just dropped that in the gutter.
Sure you're allowed to do that, are you, Maisie?
No, should be 50. It wasn't. And so Guthrie will take the free kick in the right back pocket. Guthrie kicks fairly centrally. Dangerfield through his hands, close at the back of the pack. Good hand pass over the top to the running Buse. Has Higgins outside of him. That's where he heads. Higgins inside 50. This is who you want delivering to your forwards. And he hits Rowan on the chest.
They actually weren't working together just then because they both led up into the same space, and Tomahawk actually was about to hit him straight in his chest. And Rowan came across. But they still created that vacuum of space, and then Tui was actually out the back again with a great one-on-one, so he should make the distance again. But Higgins get the ball in his hands twice now, 2 times in a row, finding a...
Rowan from 48. This one's fading back late, not quite enough. One behind. 7-8-50. The Cats, 2-14-26 the Blues. And we've played 5 minutes in this final term.
Was that one of your tactics, Beach, to run across the kicker so he was forced to give it to you like Higgins did to Buse then?
Yeah, well,
that was one of mine.
That's right, exactly. You had to do it.
Gee, Stocker just ran and played on and then absolutely shanked it. We've seen some horrors tonight. I'm not sure what part of the foot that came off. Went straight up in the air, and Tui takes the intercept mark. 40 out at left half forward.
Well, it came off the good part of his
I think he was trying to kick a barrel or trying to kick the belly of it to really get it going distance-wise. We asked him to take him off after his first 2 kicks. He didn't.
Why would kicking a torp on the run? That's so hard.
Well, that's what it looked like.
Yeah. And if it wasn't, it was a terrible attempt at a drop punt.
So Zach Tui in his 100th game as a Cat. Any score will reset the high water mark of the night. Zach Tui, beautiful drop punt. Make it 5 goals neat. He's got a couple against his old mob in his milestone game. 6.5 into the final term. The Cats out by 30. 8-8 to 2-14. Brendan Goddard, Brett Delidio, Grandstand AFL.
They say, Lids.
We're just watching the replay. It is. And he is, oh my goodness, that ball has turned 3 times from his ball drop to his foot.
From his hand to his foot. He tried to kick a drop punt in his defence. Oh, he's got the
grippo on.
The grippo on. It's stuck to his hand. That's why I never, ever like that stuff.
Really? I'll swear by it.
Oh, nah.
You've got to learn how to use it. Obviously, Liam needs to practice with it at training.
Not experienced enough with it.
No.
I used it when I was a young kid playing for Traralgon in the Force. We used to kick the dew off the ground. I remember using it first couple of games and got some touches early, and it did exactly that. I was never using this again.
Stanley takes it out of the ruck. Ball spills free in the tackle. It's spilled free of Cripps too, who couldn't get it. O'Connor kicks to the top of the square. Wiedering takes a good mark.
He's been good today.
I was just about to say I got the vote, so I think if there's any Carlton players sneaking in there.
He hand passes to Williamson, who hand passes to Williams. Up to the wing, Cripps in front of Stanley. Martin did the roving. Hand pass to Kennedy, inside 50. Mackay from behind brings it to the front. And well roved by Stewart. Hand pass with all the time in the world to Parfitt. And he's got a fair bit of time too to assess his options. He goes right across to the left back pocket and finds Tui. Tui chips further afield to the leading Higgins at left half back.
Cats have had 7 goal kickers. Zach Tui the only one with multiples. He gets it back from Higgins. And Tom Hawkins been goalless, so Wiedering's kept him to zip. Third straight matchup between the pair. He kept him goalless in 2019. Kept him to 2 last time out. And so far goalless tonight as Tui some indecision and then goes short to Stewart. Against the boundary line at half-back. Pulls the trigger back to the corridor. Henderson takes the mark. Another former Blue. He plays on and goes long to Menegola. One-on-one with Kennedy. Brings it to ground. Kennedy wrestles it from him to ground level. Hand pass out to Zach Williams. High up and under out wide. On the wing, Atkins gets there on the bounce. Skids in, collects, stands up and hits up Myers.
Myers to Stanley, who takes it. He's 60 from goal. Myers keeps on running. Stanley chips inside 50 over the head of Smith, who was in an acre of space. Gets to Newman, hand pass to Dow for the Blues. Out wide at a Setterfield. He's looking for the next option. There's only one of them. That's Fogarty. Not a great kick. Benefited Stewart, who waltzes through the wing. Kicks inside 50. Hawkins almost couldn't quite take the mark. Newman at ground level. Hand pass away to Setterfield. Setterfield back inboard with his hand pass to Walsh. Back to Setterfield, who goes pretty much directly behind him to Williams, who off a step gets it to Kennedy in the left back pocket.
Off contract at the end of the year, Matthew Kennedy played some good footy over the last month. He goes short to Stocker. Let's see what he's got this time. Pokes it in the centre square for Williamson. One of the 2 late inclusions with Casbolt and Liam Jones, the 2 late scratchings for the Blues. He lays it off by hand to Zach Williams running by. Spins out of the would-be tackle from close. High ball to centre half forward. Fogarty to target. Stewart up strong in front. And the 2-time All-Australian Tom Stewart pulls it down with a strong mark at centre half back. He goes wide to Blitzarves, who marks on the back flank. It's the Cats by 30 points. It's as wide as it's been 10 minutes into the final quarter.
Blitzarves low. Stocker and Dangerfield in a one-on-one. Neither could mark. Dangerfield recovered quickest. Kicks it to right half forward. Menegola no mark. Dow in. Gets the hand pass to Newman. And a long sweeping hand pass along the floor. Finds Silvani. Hand pass to Williamson, who kicks to left half forward. Mackay trying to get a run at it. Just tapped it down to the advantage of Owies. His kick inside 50 was smothered. Never made it. Now a chance for O'Connor. Hand pass to Menegola. Menegola out wide to Buse by hand. Snaps. It's be awkward for Newman. It skids onto his chest. Did well to control the ball. Hand pass inboard to Curnow. Curnow long hand pass. Finds Plowman, and Plowman switches play across to right half back where Wiedering takes it.
He's going to play on. Looks for Setterfield, who takes the mark. Logo southern wing. Geelong by 30 points. 8-8 to 2-14. Carlton had a run across 3 quarters where they kicked 11 consecutive behinds. The Cats 5 unanswered goals during that period at the other end. The Setterfield goes short to Petrevski-Seaton. Still in the defensive half. Short kick to Walsh. Just takes the mark. In front of the pressure from close. Possession 29 coming up. It's a short kick in the middle of the ground for Paddy Dow. Top 3 pick back in 2017. Played some better footy over the last couple of weeks coming back in the side. He kicks inside the forward 50 here. Crips the target in a one-on-one. No mark. Spills at the bootlaces of Betsy. Went without it. Menegola picks it up, but not before Kolajasny was dumped into the turf. Pushed in the back, according to the umpire. The free kick going against Cripps and Kolajasny to take it left half back. Geelong by 30 points. Just repeating, 12 gone, final term. The Cats 8 goals to 2.
Just controlling things nicely at the moment, the Cats. Hawkins takes a strong contested mark, just short of centre wing. He looks to go quickly and then thinks better of it. Holds it up, percentage play, out wide. Close takes the mark on a long lead. Close just inside the boundary, still 2 kicks from goal. He retreats, goes back to centre wing where Myers takes the mark. Myers looking inboard. He's got Henderson at centre half back and he goes all the way back inside defensive 50. Henderson takes it on his chest. Short chip is a little dicey. Fogarty couldn't close late enough. Atkins takes the mark. Short kick to Buse and he can run, sets off over halfway, and that's lovely delivery to Hawkins, who marks 51 from goal. But pretty much every Carlton player ahead of him, yet was still able to find some space and kicks it into the space for Hawkins to run in on.
Sammy Menegola's head's about to pop off here. He's offered up a few leads and had the hands right out wide. Why not? Kick it to me. Hawks thinking, I've got none. I'm having a pee.
Those numbers put it at the top of the score.
Dry night, no problem. Yep, you're right. And he kicks it beautifully to Myers, just out of his fingertips. He might have taken it in the dry. From the mess, it's able to be mopped up by Sard. Kicks to Nunes, hand pass to Curnow. To Koning! It was played on, not quite sure why.
How?
And then he gives it back to Curnow. Did well enough. Nunes kicked straight to O'Connor. O'Connor to close, right half forward. How was that not a mark?
She had a good one taken on his back by Rowan earlier, and he's been denied the chance for his here. The kick from close inside the forward pocket, trying to claim the mark. Dangerfield, it won't be. He's locked up by Newman, somehow gets the footy out. Myers at half forward. Hand pass to Guthrie. He retreats with the kick to Henry. He's 70 out at right half forward. The Carlton fans unhappy. DeConey's been denied his mark of the week contender as he goes to centre half forward for O'Connor. O'Connor just lays it up top of the goal square. Stanley down there, takes the one-hander, gets a free. Had one arm being held by Williamson. Stanley took it anyway, and slight angle left of centre. He'll kick from 12 metres out.
That's probably the old one with the big ruckman's got a handful of his jumper, just stiff-arming him right in the chest. There's not much else he can do. It looks like Williamson's holding on, but he was too strong in the end. Anyway, a good contested mark. I'd rather see that paid than the free kick.
Just to absolutely kill off the contest, Reece Stanley skips in, 15 metres out, Dobson. Geelong finishing over the top of the Blues here. The game high margin keeps growing. It's out to 36. Geelong 9-8-62. Carlton 2-14-26. 15 played final term. It's the Cats by 36.
I've got a question in that situation. When the hand is up on someone's chest, why do defenders not slap their arm or try and smack their arm to try and get closer to them?
You don't really. It's not an instinctive move, so it's hard.
You've got to be thinking really quickly to have that. It's the same as trying to knock down Dusty's fend off when it's coming to you.
Yeah.
They'd say, just knock his arm down. Yeah, okay, no worries, mate. You have a go at knocking his arm down.
Well, not only that, it's not instinctive. So unless you literally train it, which we're used to, but I don't think we still did it enough to actually. And
because it doesn't happen enough.
Yeah, and you knew that Dusty got it. He was running in your vicinity. You probably knew it was going to happen, but again, it's just not instinctive. But that is showed the replay, and it was touched.
It was.
Yeah, Tomahawk touched it off the boot of Ed Curnow, so it was a pretty good call by the umpire, but just add a bit of theatre, mate. Just pay the mark. I don't think anyone would have held it against you. And
didn't read the play, did he?
And it was just going back to that play that Stanley's marked. It was actually a really good decision by O'Connor in the end, just to identify there was a mismatch and just put it in Reece Stanley's vicinity. It wasn't exactly to his advantage, but it was a flat, hard kick that gave him a pretty good opportunity against a mismatch.
Walsh from the middle, out wide, hand pass to Setterfield, to Sard. Fogarty had Buse closing late. In fact, it was Henderson, rather. Henderson's come 25 metres off his man to make that spoil and puts it about 5 rows back.
And there's some of the little things that, not just Carlton, but in general, but other players and teams can look at with a more experienced team like Geelong, and I think it's something they do focus on. They kicked at the Reece Stanley there, but how often do you see them with Tomahawk isolated in a pocket or with little space, but they just hit that lower, flatter, harder kick just to put it into his advantage and give him the best opportunity.
From the stoppage, Tui to Guthrie. Guthrie was going to kick, hand passed in the end. O'Connor, short kick. Reaches Buse on the half volley. Nice hands. Gave it back to O'Connor. Pat Galea had it spoiled, but picked it up beautifully like a midfielder. Kicks inside 50, and Holmes almost got separation that time on Williamson. Sard, hand pass to Williamson. Back by hand to Petrevski, Seaton, and out wide to Martin. And Martin had Stewart closing. Took the mark. Held it for long enough. He'll relieve things from left half back for the Blues.
16 scoring shots to 17. Geelong with one more on the board and yet lead by 36 points. Carlton kicked 11 consecutive behinds at one point from late in the opening quarter to midway, or really towards the time on in the third term. And they've only kicked 2 for the night as Plowman sells some candy around Hawkins at half back. Hits up Kennedy, turns and kicks up into the front half. Walsh marks just forward of the wing, looks for Dow. The young pair combined. Dow takes the mark, lays it back to Walsh, puts on the burners, takes a bounce, closes to 20 out, snaps outside of the right boot. How good is this kick? Sam Walsh with a highlight in the final term. Put the burners on, races away and finishes all class. 18 minutes into the final quarter. Carlton 3-14-32. Geelong 9-8-62. Back to 30 points, and Sam Walsh gets a round of applause as he hits the bench.
No, it's incredible, isn't it?
You just know exactly what you're going to get from him week in, week out, don't you?
Look who he's standing next to. He kicked over what we call a champion of the game. He was on the mark, Dangerfield. Dangerfield gave up on it.
He kept going.
So I reckon Danger's got it in him just to keep going, but even he gave up on it. And even the great players make mistakes and get a bit lazy from time to time. Danger, in my opinion, has got to be better there. But just for the kid, what's most impressive is like how reliable he is right now. So for a third-year player, I don't think you can say that about too many, is that his teammates run down the race every week or at training and just, mate, we know what we're going to get from this guy. So it's a great position and a great foundation for any player. And you're going to take what you want from it. Everyone's talking, he's had 33 touches tonight, 11 contested, but reliability and his teammates knowing what they're going to get for him and for mine is one of the most important things as a player.
Carlton with another centre clearance. Kick comes to Silvani, right half forward, into the pocket over the head of Mackay, over the head of everyone, and out of bounds for a ball in 30 from goal.
Now, out of all number one draft picks after 54 games, he's averaging 25 disposals per game, which puts him ahead of McGrath, Whitfield, Scully and Murphy, all with 20 around the same stage of their career.
It's a long way in front of where I was.
I was still just busting my butt to get a game. Will cement my spot in the team.
Toss back into play. O'Connor, hand pass to Dangerfield, who just kicks it end over end to space. Will this go out? It sits up enough. Holmes shows his toe and then isn't able to pick up cleanly. Carlton with the numbers. Setterfield, kick back inside, and he hits to Koning on the wing, who wants to go quickly. Hand pass to Newman, to Curnow, to Sard. Sard with a penetrating kick inside 50. Martin couldn't get separation. Hughes coming through, couldn't take it cleanly. Kennedy ricochets off Eddie Betts' left boot and out for a boundary throw in 40 from the Carlton goal, left forward pocket.
Lids, you were at 17.5 disposals per game. You were ahead of Walsh, 0.5 in score involvements, though.
That's the one.
Well, that's why he's big on it. He knew that.
And Beej, you're at 13.59 after 54 games.
Yeah, slowly building. Slow burn.
From the boundary throw-in, they all miss it. Silvani through traffic. Hand pass to Betts. He's crunched by Dangerfield. Ball spits out. Menengola in the back pocket. Hand pass to Stewart. Short kick to Higgins, who takes the mark at half-back. But that's phenomenal from debut, as 55 consecutive games now for Sam Walsh.
In our defence too, Lids. Like, I know back then, my third year, I was still only probably playing 40-50% of game time. I wouldn't even get on the ground. Times have changed.
I think it turned out all right for you in the end, Beach.
Yeah, it did, but it's just how things have changed.
Higgins to Hawkins. Hawkins kicks down the line. Stanley drops a mark he should have taken. Spills to Myers. Hand pass to Higgins. Back to Stanley under the pump. High kick inside the forward pocket. Rolling the target. Slips past him and also Stocker. And some soccer work from Plowman as he just soccers it through for a rush behind. Cats by 31, 21 played final term.
Straight down the middle. That's better from Stocker. He finds the chest of Williams. Williams was looking to go down the middle himself. Quickly clogged up by the Geelong defence. Chip inside the centre square. Finds Silvani. Back to Williams, who had no space to run into. Wide hand pass. Petreski-Seaton just got there on the reach. His kick was turned over. Higgins, hand pass to Guthrie, to Myers. And across to Close. Could spoil late by Sard. He keeps it in to Sard. And then snaps straight to Guthrie, where the ball came from, just behind centre wing.
Off contract too, by the way. Cam Guthrie goes short to Higgins. It's going to be a 50 here. Someone's in the protected zone. Is it Zach Williams who's limping off the ground?
He was trying to get to the bench while he was limping. Unlucky.
Very stiff. Guthrie goes out wide to Higgins. I think I put a bit of mayo on the crowd throughout the night. I was saying,
I thought that was a bit rich.
Higgins kicks towards the hot spot. Hawkins the target. Slapped away though by Wiedering. Back out towards the boundary line. Walsh has it. He loses it and Close knocks it out of play.
Colby's on the payroll. Don't tell us. Let us guess.
Boundary throw in 30 out from the Cats goal.
29.
I'll say 31.
I thought it looked really good. The cap is 40, so we can't have more than 40.
Yeah, what is it?
I was going to go 37.
31,834.
You saw it.
Just under 30.
Promise. Kids laugh.
Kids laugh. Throwing. There's a package form, still 45 out from the Geelong goal. We'll have a ball up half forward here for the Cats.
For real life.
No late change at Carrara for the Brisbane St Kilda game. Reece Matheson and Josh Battle, the two subs respectively. That's coming up next. And later tonight, it's Ash Barty in the Wimbledon final right here on ABC Radio.
Hawkins slaps it forward. Radagalair couldn't gather. Dow did. Dragged off the kick, though. Lacked penetration. Buse takes it on his chest. Gets to 50. Puts it to the hot spot. Plowman rolling in a one-on-one. Plowman got a fist to it. It ricochets into the forward pocket. Holmes over. Got it to Close, who left it behind at the last moment. Holmes got to his feet. Can he kick his first this time? Yes, he does. Runs to the goal square. And a nice little celebration for his first goal in footy. 24 minutes played, final term on Grandstand AFL. It is the Cats by 37 points.
He's got a good turn of foot, hasn't he? I think we all knew that anyway, but good to back yourself. He fought, scrapped hard to get there, just to keep the ball in play. Back to his feet. And Liam Stocker, although he's got the gripper on, couldn't hang on for the tackle there. And Max Holmes just knocks it over the top for his first goal, which is great, and good to see all the boys get around him. But as we probably predicted for most of the night, the damn wall was going to break Beach, and unfortunately for the Blues, they haven't made the most of their opportunities, as we've spoken about, and we're at the result that we are now. It's not pretty, I wouldn't have thought, if you're a Blues fan.
Youngest man on the ground, Max Holmes, 400-metre hurdler. Of course, he's...
I guess he's a springy step.
You didn't hear about that before?
No.
Son of Lee Naylor. So, great sporting pedigree. And his first goal in his sixth game for the Cats. Out of the middle, O'Connor kicks out to half-forward. Weeder in double fister. Whacks it back towards the boundary line. Nunes thought about keeping it alive and then just fumbles it straight over the boundary. A throw-in between wing and half-forward for the Cats. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Just a late injury concerns for both sides. Gary Rowan for the Cats has come to the bench. He's getting his left thigh. Looks like he's putting ice on it. They had a heat pack originally, and then now they're just strapping it up. He's obviously done with a couple of minutes to go, but potentially repercussions during the week. And then Zach Williams for the Blues. He was pointing to the inside of his left ankle, but he's just sitting on the bench. Hopefully not too serious, that one.
It's cold enough without having to apply ice to any part of your body downstairs at the moment. 25 minutes played, final term. It is the Cats by 37 points. Ball will be thrown back in. 70 around from the Geelong goal. De Koning from behind. Stanley in front. Now there's a free off the ball here, and it's going the way of De Koning, played by the out of zone umpire. De Koning short inboard to Newman. And Newman called to play on. He goes short to true centre half back to Stocker. Stocker deals with the gripper a little better that time. Comes out wide to left half back, and the mark taken by Plowman. Plowman short beyond the wing, and he finds Kennedy. Methodical build up here from the Blues. Kennedy enters 50. De Koning tries to get out the back. Becomes a punch in the end from him. But well done by Collar Jasny, who kicks it to absolutely no one in particular. There was free space everywhere. Newman, and he's got 5 Blues free inside 50. One of them's Walsh. He pulls the trigger from 50 and has another one. 2 in the last quarter for Sam Walsh. Little consolation for the Blues. 4-14-38. Geelong 10-9-69. 26 played, final term.
Beach, you're a golfer. This reminds me a little bit of when you've had a horror round that you come up with, say, a birdie or a par on the last, and Walsh kicks 2 right at the end, and it's enough to get you back next week just as the team's lost, and you think, I'll come around again.
Not if I'm a Carlton supporter.
And there's enough from Sam Walsh where he kicks 2 right at the death.
You know any Carlton supporters?
Do I?
Yeah.
It's been pretty quiet tonight. Can't wait till...
we'll have to get his thoughts after the game.
His post-match thoughts. But no one actually saw it, that McKay just caught one straight in the scon in that attempted marking contest, probably only like 15 seconds earlier down here in front of us inside 50. It's literally gone. Missed the fist of a Geelong player and smashed him straight in the pill. So, but Sam Walsh again just continuing on his great form, great year. Bit of a consolation prize in the end because Geelong is standing still, but
Free kick for the 666 in the middle. De Koning out to Kerno. Long kick inside 50 and Mackay plucks it in about a pack of 6 or 8.
How does he kick this one, Beach, quickly?
Well, he has to kick a drop punt, didn't he?
No, I know, but...
Oh, yeah, so little thought,
Boot it.
Go back. Yeah, but just natural arc, just don't think too much about it.
Harry Mackay moves in, kicks through it. Through it goes, post high.
As I look across the box and there's Matty Lloyd, who's probably telling him to count his steps, go back, throw the grass in the air, run in a straight line.
Mackay with his second. They both come after half-time. Carlton have kicked 3 of the last 4 in the game. It's all a little late. Geelong by 25. 10-9. They lead Carlton 5-14. 29 played final quarter.
Don't lean back on it. Is every missed shot in the history of football is because he leant back on it?
Yeah.
Or he didn't kick through it?
That's right. Gave up the goals. No, he's... I'm not sure he's got it sorted. I'm not going to be the one to give him advice. I didn't have it dialed in either, but 2 goals, 3. He certainly knows how to get shots. There's no worries there. He's still leading the Coleman, so he'll have the last laugh, I reckon.
Stanley and De Koning back in the middle again. De Koning tried to win it down. Stanley came through. Sard off half-back. Hand pass to Walsh. Dow had it slip through his hands. Now Holmes. Good tackle by Walsh. Lightning hand pass by Myers. Out to close to Menengola by hand. Lovely movement by the Cats. The pass inside 50 finds Higgins.
Plays Collingwood next Sunday at the G. Boy, that'll be an interesting game. Carlton, Collingwood, Sunday at the G. And then for Geelong, they've got the trip across the Nullarbor, the short break, Thursday night against the Dockers in Perth.
24 possessions for Sean Higgins tonight.
Good return.
Yep.
He just might sneak into the votes.
Oh, okay. Bit of a preview there from Brendan Goddard in charge of the votes tonight. Higgins comes in and falls short, actually. Kennedy almost took the mark. Luckily, it spilled over for one behind. 30 minutes played, final term. And it is a comfortable 26-point lead for the Cats.
Stocker from the kick-out goes long, straight down the middle. Mackay leaps up, had a hand on it. Spills to Menengola, who's wrapped up, taken to ground in the middle of the G. I know you both wore long sleeves at different times of your career, Beach and Lids. It's one of the better long sleeve jumpers.
Yeah, I like it.
The beautiful artwork, which extends all the way down the sleeves on the Geelong Indigenous jumper. The margin, 26 points as we restart play back in the middle. Menengola to Dangerfield. And Geelong continue to navigate the dog days of winter. They've won 8 of their last 9 to shore up a spot in the top 4. The Cats by 26.
We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park.
With a short break and a trip to Perth coming up, they rolled the dice, leaving out Dalhouse and Selwood, both managed. Jeremy Cameron injured, Mitch Duncan unavailable, and yet Carlton sprayed them all over the place as Geelong extended their lead at every change. 2 points at quarter time, 7 at the half, 18 at three-quarter time, 26 in the finish.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park.
Geelong 10-10-70, Carlton 5-14. 44. They kicked 11 consecutive behinds at one point either side of quarter time and half time. The goal kickers in the game, Zach Tui kicked 2 in his 100th game as a Cat. Singles to Stanley, Parfitt, Higgins, Smith, Holmes, his first in AFL footy, Radagalia, Rowan and Hughes, all with 1 for Geelong. They had 9 different goal kickers, while for Carlton, 2 each for Harry Mackay. He's up to 48 for the year, the Coleman medal leader. 2 for Sam Walsh. Both came in the final term. 1 spectacular on the run and 1 to Sam Petrevsky-Seaton. That was their only goal for almost 3 quarters, which came 10 minutes into the ball game. A 26-point win for the Cats. They give themselves a 12-4 record, so they're third on the table as it sits at the moment, obviously with Brisbane still to play tonight and the Western Bulldogs tomorrow. The two results today, Cats by 26 over the Blues and Freo by 62 over the Hawks. Your initial takeaway, Brendan Goddard, Brett Delidio, what did you make of all that?
Well, I think it was mostly what I come to expect. I think from the Cats, I would have liked to have been a little bit more dominant, but when you're going through the amount of stars they've got out of the team, Corby, and the good players that just make them a better side, I think you can understand where they're at. The good, consistent performance. Whenever Carlton came at them, they put the foot down enough and just kick away. But missed opportunities for Carlton. You put a team under pressure by kicking those goals, especially early. What they have in the first quarter is a 1-5 in the first quarter. Yep. You kick even half of those, and you're putting the Cats right under the pump and asking them questions and making them change the way they want to play. But unfortunately, when you're not, and then you're down on the scoreboard, you're constantly trying to find ways to get back into it and chase back. But yeah, probably what I thought would happen, Beach, to be completely honest with you.
Carlton were better defensively, I think, more in the first half. But again, just their opportunities, again, we made a highlight of it that their Achilles heel most of the year has just been their disposal, their foot skills, and in particular their forward 50 entries, and it hurt them on a number of opportunities when they had really good looks, and at times when second quarter I think had 6 inside 50s, but so out of those 6 we were reasonably efficient and got some pretty good looks at it, couldn't capitalise. So there's a disconnect, I think, with their forwards in knowing their role and almost being selfless enough just to give it up, and everyone running to the same spot and working together a bit more to free up maybe one guy with a bit of space, as opposed to them working in isolation and trying to just find space and separation from their opponent by themselves, so they could do a bit more work there. But for periods of the game, Geelong did play the forward half game, locked it in. Again, Carlton did a really good job just holding that damn wall shut.
Yep. And
it was leaking for a long time there, and they've ended up with 18 more inside 50s than Carlton. So, it's four and a bit a quarter on average. So, when it's so heavily weighed one way, it's generally going to end one way, really, is they're going to get on top of you at some point. And they did at the start of that last quarter there, get the ball in good ball users' hands. No coincidence. When Silvani got it, a bit of time and space, made really good decisions for Carlton. Higgins, who had a really good game, I thought, and was really efficient. He was arguably the difference at the start of the quarter, where he strung together 2 great inside forward 50s and 2 goals came of it. So just created enough breathing or fresh air there for Geelong, and then Carlton get a couple of kind of late goals when everyone's standing still. So Geelong just did enough. Carlton, a couple of good wins against some lowly opposition, but, couple of steps forward and then come up against a solid, experienced team tonight, and just couldn't get the job done. And again, their Achilles heel raises its head and bites him in the bum again in a lot of ways, because, as we may have mentioned at half-time, that it's funny that they were still within a sniff of the game, and they were only 18 points down when we felt Geelong had numerous opportunities, and so they gave themselves a chance, but because I think they were defending well. So to keep them in the game longer, and possession-wise and all stats, we're leaning towards Geelong and being dominant, but Carlton's ability to just defend and hold up defensively just gave themselves a chance at the halfway mark, but then again just couldn't get the job done at half time. We made mention that they need to be more efficient going forward and better with their foot skills, and that didn't really improve, did it?
Well, look at Sam Walsh, who's had 14 kicks out of his 36, but only 3 inside 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Paddy Cripps has had 4 kicks out of his 19 touches, 0 inside 50s.
Not one.
Well, when you're down minus 18 in inside 50s, and you got, and I'm not questioning Sam Walsh's want and his effort all day, awesome, but I'd love to see him become more, make more of their clearance work that they're doing, go forward with the footy. But sometimes when you're winning it, you're handballing it off to other people, and they're not making the right decision, and they're not going inside forward 50. But
or that could be a reflection that they spent a lot of time more in Geelong's forward half winning the footy, because it spent...
Well, that's where they were.
Majority of the time there, or a high percentage. So Carlton has still got to do a better job at, when they do go forward and they do get inside 50, one, to find a target or put it to a spot that gives them great opportunity, but then lock it in there and get those re-entries and spend more time in their forward half.
Zach Toohey and Tom Stewart both just cheering Lockie Henderson off the ground. So across 3 clubs, he's made his way to 200 games tonight, as we touched on during the broadcast. Meanwhile, milestones for Sam Menegola, his 100th game of AFL footy. He too leads Geelong in alongside Lockie Henderson. We can duck into the rooms. Jess Webster's made her way downstairs. Jess.
G'day, Corbs. I have made it into the rooms. I think this is the first time I've been in the change rooms post an AFL game for about 2 years. So a nice contingent of family and friends have made their way in. And here comes the Cats players now as they walk into the rooms. And I'm sure they'll get around and sing the song pretty loudly.
Six-point winners, the Cats. They extended their lead at every change. 2 at quarter time, 7 at the half, 18 at three-quarter time and 26 in the finish. We'll see if Jess can grab someone for us in the next 10 minutes before we're off to Carrara for the Saturday night standalone fixture in round 17. Brisbane and St Kilda. No late change. Reece Matheson and Josh Battle, the subs for the 2 teams respectively. And then following that tonight, our coverage from 10:30 Australian Eastern. Ashley Barty and Carolina Pliskova for all the marbles. It is the Wimbledon Ladies Final. You can hear it here on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital tonight. They're in a nice spot, the Cats, so they get themselves to 12-4. They've won 8 of their past 9. They get a rest into Joel Selwood, which I'm sure would have been criticised had it gone the other way tonight against the Blues. Dalhouse was managed through. Cameron's obviously out injured. They got the short break 5 days before they play Perth. They play in Perth against the Dockers on Thursday night, which is an interesting fixture. Freo have been away for a long time as well. They've played consecutive away games given the COVID situation out west, and then a trip down to Tassie today. So both teams off long travel with short rest.
Yeah, they built 8 of the last 9. I didn't think they were going that well. They just had that stinker against Brisbane.
Yep.
In the last 9 weeks. So, and they run home, as you may mention, Freo next week. Short break, Richmond, North, GWS, who'll be contending arguably for that 8th spot.
Yep.
St Kilda, which, as funny as it sounds, they're still within a sniff of the 8 somehow, and Melbourne. So I think it's a good kind of lead into finals, isn't it? Just to build in, and obviously the last 10 weeks have been really solid. But there's Richmond, GWS that should be contending, arguably St Kilda and Melbourne. So there's a couple of opposition teams there that'll be desperate. So they should get enough competition and no soft wins or all that kind of thing leading the finals. So I think they're in a really good spot, and then hopefully
get the cavalry back,
get the guys back from injury.
I think the last 3 of those games were all at Cardinia Park. So obviously everything's week to week at the moment, but that's it scheduled at this stage. The games against the Giants, the Saints and the D's.
And let's not forget too, so they'll have an extra week up their sleeve if the injuries don't go to planning, because ideally you come back and you get a couple of games in before finals, but they've got that week before. That's still in, isn't it? The week off before the finals at this stage. So they've got an extra week up the sleeve if they do have anyone that is touch and go.
And let's get into the victorious Geelong rooms. A 26-point win over Carlton. Jess Webster.
Thanks, Corby. Here with Cam Guthrie. Cam, it was a grind early on. You managed to get over the top of them quite convincingly in the end. 3 milestones to celebrate tonight. I mean, how satisfying was it to sing the team song?
Yeah, it was good, Jess. Proud of the boys, proud of Sam and proud of Hendo as well. I think early on they had their chances. I think they probably missed a few maybe they would have usually kicked, and that kind of kept us in it. But, I guess we knew that if we went the distance, the game might swing in our favour, and that's the way it went.
It was almost a game of 2 halves. It really was a grind, and wet, dewy conditions in the first half made it a bit of a scrap. But then you open it up in the second half, managed to get string together some really nice passages of play. When you go to review a game like this, what do you focus on when it was kind of chalk and cheese there a little bit?
Yeah, we probably do look at we'll look at the first quarter when maybe it kind of didn't really go our way, and we've got some KPIs that we like to hit. So we kind of came in at half time, and there was a lot of greens, not much red. So that was a good sign that we were kind of trying to play the way that we wanted to, but that wasn't necessarily the case on the scoreboard. So we stuck with it and got there in the end.
Mentioned a couple of milestones. Lockie Henderson and Zach Toohey, of course, former Blues, were getting booed early in the game, and Zach in the final quarter managed to kick a couple of goals. How much do you reckon he would have loved that?
He loved it. He absolutely loved it. He's a passionate guy, Zach. We're wrapped that he's a Geelong person now, but I think those two were pretty sweet for him.
Well, I think we've got time now to quickly head upstairs to the box to our grandstand AFL experts in Brendan Goddard and Brett Delidio.
Cam, Brendan Goddard, thanks for joining us, mate. Well done. Just quickly, you touched on at half-time, there's a lot of green on the board. So was there discussion just in that second half just to be a bit more efficient going forward? Because we felt like up here you had a number of good looks, but your ball use was maybe just a little bit off tonight.
Thanks, BJ. Yeah, I think there was a lot of green, probably except for maybe clearances. And the clearances we got, we kind of went pretty shallow, and they were able to bounce it out pretty effectively. So we've got some dangerous tools down there. Got Hawk, and I thought Sav presented really well today as well. So, giving them probably better looks and, trying to convert from there.
Cam, Brett Lidio here, mate. I'm just wondering whether your weakest link this year has been your runner.
Thanks, Lids. Grigor wasn't moving too well today, was he?
It's been rubbish most of the year.
He's brought some good knowledge across from the Tigers, mate, so we're wrapped to have him. I'll play pretty straight back there.
Cam Guthrie with us on Grandstand AFL. Cam, it's Corbin Middlemass. You're obviously off contract. You're an All-Australian now, the reigning best and fairest winner. Can Cats fans expect you to re-sign anytime soon?
Mate, I'd like to say that it was close. I'm actually not too sure where we're at the moment.
Come on, mate.
I'm just trying to play my best footy at the moment. Playing another straight back there, aren't I?
You're not fooling anyone in this box.
I'll leave it at that.
Just quickly, the week ahead, obviously short break and over in Perth. The Dockers too coming back from Tasmania today. But what does the week look like logistically?
Yeah, probably not much training. 5-day break. Probably something that we haven't really seen since kind of last year with those, really shortened gaps between the games. But I guess they were only 16 minutes. So we'll do a fair bit of recovery early in the week, I'd say. Do a review, but kind of get over there and try and freshen up as best we can because, hopefully a few late wins in the season will really, launch our finals campaign.
Appreciate your time as always, Cam. Nice to see you playing some good footy, and if you put pen to paper, just let us know as soon as you can.
All right, I'll get on the phone, boys. Thank you.
Cam Guthrie, the All-Australian wingman last year, had such a good year they had to squeeze him in to the best 22. A 26-point win for the Cats over the Blues.
That's
here
in the V, isn't it?
Twilight.
Just right in the V.
In the V, come on, man.
He's blocking.
I don't know where it's at. Come on. You don't. No. I'll just leave it all to my manager.
You always knew where it was at, the contract?
Yes. Come on.
Just a very quick stat. Josh Kay is amazing on Twitter. Now, this is the third time in history that the Cats have won a game 70 points to 44. In each of the other 2 years, 1952, 1958, an Australian has won Wimbledon.
Oh,
what's his name?
Wow, Josh Kay.
Is that your alter ego?
No. Josh is
He's amazing.
Long time at Channel 7. Yep. Worked with Bruce for many years.
So you'd love
That's
him.
very cool. Just repeating Wimbledon tonight on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. You can hear it right here, Barty and Pliskova, for the ladies' title. Beach the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Here we go. Drum roll.
It was actually tough. It wasn't like huge standouts. And it's slippery conditions, all that kind of thing. But I liked what we highlighted during the call. Wiedering, I thought was outstanding on.
I didn't make it.
On Hawkins, just missed out. No goals. And won his fair share of just contest or halving them at least. When you say one, you probably call it a mark or winning the ball on ground level when
Stewart
he does.
Stewart was good at the other end, wasn't he?
Yeah, Stewart was good, but he did play that
25
wicket keeper a bit, so don't give him...
12 marks.
Yeah,
but this is why defenders don't win these awards.
I'm all for him, but he just...
he just missed?
No, I just liked few more intercept marks.
You're an offensive player.
So one vote goes to the young stud, Sammy Walsh. He's the only standout, I think, for Carlton. Have to give him a vote.
He tries hard all day, doesn't he? You just know what you're going to get.
Yeah, just weight of numbers there is outstanding, but just 2 goals at the end just to round it out. 2, I thought Higgins. I thought Higgins was a good return. He's been pretty quiet, actually. Been disappointed. I thought he was been going to offer something to Geelong, which we saw tonight. Really, he's just class centre or forward.
Yeah.
So when he gets the ball, he is so efficient. But when you give him 25 touches, leading into the season, I said you give Sean Higgins 20 touches and he'll do enough to cut you up.
At 77%.
So yeah, at 77%, but 25. 5 inside 50 7 score involvements. Again, he had back-to-back inside 50s with great decisions, great execution, which resulted in goals. And he just weighted numbers. Midfielder disposals, Cam Guthrie, we just chatted to, 12 contested possessions, equal leader with Paddy Dangerfield. On the ground for Geelong, 6 clearances. But the thing about Cam too, he is really good now as an inside mid, but then he's got the ability to get on the spread and find the ball in
but
general
he goes both
play.
ways, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes both ways. So we've seen him in the past actually go, play run with rolls as such to minimise, but then get off him almost. That he's a bit better offensively than Cameron Ling, with respect, mate. But that lockdown, but go both ways. So tough to pick it tonight, but Cam Guthrie for mine.
3 to Guthrie, 2 to Higgins, 1 to Walsh from Brendan Goddard in the ABC Footballer of the Year. The Cats by 26 points over the Blues. Earlier, Fremantle by 62 over Hawthorn, so they're 7th on the table for the time being. Lids, I'll see you from 12 noon tomorrow in the studio.
You will, mate.
That's Eastern Time, Grandstand AFL Sunday. Maisie, always good fun. Beach, I'll catch you at the footy.
Yeah, again tomorrow. Maisie, you're lucky we didn't get your final thoughts on Carlton. Being a Carlton man tonight, we just ran out of time.
I'll save them.
Park that. Beach will be with us for the Western Bulldogs Sydney game tomorrow. There's a game to come tonight, of course. It's at Carrara. Quentin Hull heading up the call. Brisbane and St Kilda, no late change. And then after that tonight, Barty, Pliskova, the Wimbledon finals. Just keep it locked right here. ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. It's still all ahead of us at the MCG. The Cats winners by 26.